Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Pickside Podcast. My name is Joel Moran and I'm here with River Brown, Andrew Velez, and Joel Dehls. And this is now episode 205. In this episode, we are going to react to Patrick Beverley being traded to the Lakers, Kevin Durant deciding to stay with the Nets, Chet Holmgren's season-ending injury, if Talen and Horton-Tucker can thrive in Utah, and we'll also rank the top duos in the Western Conference. Now, you guys see the video. If you're not listening to the video, you're hearing the audio. Drew is back.
Yes, sir.
And you got a nice Funko Pop there.
I do have a nice Funko Pop. I'll tell you what. First off, good to be back. Absolutely great to be back. You guys held it down. You guys held it down. You guys put up our most viewed video of all time while I was gone. That was absolutely electric to see. Shout out to y'all for holding it down. My boy River Brown. I'm glad to be back here sitting next to you, sitting in front of you. But of course, y'all see the Funko Pop. Derek Jeter. I got blessed. My boy Max, get Funko'd. Give him a follow on Twitter or on Instagram. TikTok. Literally name it. It was his birthday. Shout out to my boy. Happy birthday to you. But the fact that I'm getting gifts and it's not my birthday, it's his birthday. I look like a shitty friend if I'm being completely honest, but just want to give him that shout out. Happy birthday, Ken. Again, I appreciate it.
Talking about Funkos, your boy Nick, honorable Patreon member, and Nick
absolutely
sent us gifts that I have in this bag right next to me. Now I'm going to pull Funkos out one by one.
Yo, let's go. We're getting more Funkos? Get the hell out of here.
I'm cooking.
So shout out to Nick for these gifts. We truly appreciate it. Now this first one is for Drew.
Hot. All right, I'm going to close my eyes. This better not be Mahomes. Hot. Anthony Davis, let's go.
And there is a note inside the box.
You have to read it.
Oh, this is my first time ever opening an actual Funko.
I put the note in there. It should be slid in there.
All right. I'm going to try and slide it out.
Hey.
All right. Anthony Davis in the flesh. Joel, I hope this doesn't cover you.
No, it doesn't.
All right, a gift for you. Anthony Davis is obviously for Drew because this is the only time you'll see AD healthy. Sincerely, your favorite Heat fan, your boy, Nick. Thank you, King. I appreciate it. This is sick. I'm hyped.
The next one, I'm going to do mine last because I'm giving everybody their stuff. So the next one is for Riv. And this is Riv's one of his favorite players. It's not his favorite player.
Is it Paul George?
But it's one of them. Drew, you got to close your eyes.
I mean, we can't tell if they're closed or not, but.
No, they're closed.
Dude.
On my mother.
Oh, you got to look. Look. You don't have to open it. Just look.
Oh!
Yeah,
shit.
nice. Good guess.
Yeah. Just look at this guy.
Show him off.
Paul George.
That's lit.
Fucking PG-13. MVP.
There's no note in there, by the way. No. It's only for Drew. And I have a note that is giving all
your
of
boy
us
Nick. Yo, shout out to you.
And now this is for Joel. I'm not going to lie. This is really,
he tweaked.
really good.
Put it in my hands.
I did.
Oh, JT. It's got
you know it's electric when it has the plastic covering.
Ooh,
yep.
Shout out Nick, man.
Nah, he bugged out.
This is fire.
He bugged out.
Surprised he bought Tatum. He hates him.
It's a real one.
Here, I'll show it off.
It's in that plastic covering.
Plastic covering, you know
Crazy.
they did some other stuff.
What's on the back of that? Why is there Jimmy Butler?
No, it just shows like the different
Numbers,
Funkos in the set.
And my Funko is James Harden, of course.
Nice. Is that him on the Nets?
He apologized for giving me the Nets one.
Here, I'll show it.
He just told me that he couldn't find any other one.
Respect to him. He tried.
He did try. He tried to get you a Steph one. But he couldn't. But there was no Steph
on Cam if I got
Shout out to Nick, man.
Nah, this AD one is super lit because it has the uni. I don't know if y'all can see it.
I've had a couple.
It's my first funky Funko.
Nah, I have a few.
So now talking about Funkos, do you guys leave them in a box or do you open them?
I
would probably leave them in the box.
I personally leave them in the box. I don't mind you open them, of course, because it's kind of goes with our design.
I would probably leave mine in the box.
I personally leave them in the box. Max absolutely just opens them, throws a box, doesn't even look at it again.
I'm surprised.
Facts. But it honestly looks cool.
And now this is the note for all of us from Nick. Keep doing what y'all are doing. You guys are awesome. Best sports pod ever. Love the vibe y'all have. It's genuine. You guys are hilarious. I got one of these for each of y'all. You know who gets who. From your boy Nick.
Shout
out to Nick. Thank you so much for the Funkos and the presents. We truly appreciate it.
Yes,
all right, now we're going to move these. So
give me mine.
Go ahead, bro.
We got so much Funkos. Maybe Funko should sponsor us.
Oh, dude.
Funko.
Send us
Would absolutely
us.
love that.
Now, before we go on to the first couple topics on the episode, you can join our Chalkboard or our Discord. The link is going to be down below. Now, Chalkboard is our group chat. You can join that for free. Discord, you have to subscribe to our Patreon to get access to the Discord. And also, don't forget to buy some Pick Aside Podcast merch. We're going to have some seasonal drops, but for now, you guys can buy hoodies, T-shirts, and all different types of colors. And don't forget to rate our podcast on Apple Podcasts or Spotify and leave a like and comment on this full episode video. And now...
And you also, if you're a Patreon member, 2 extra episodes per month.
Yes.
You dropped one for August, one coming out then the next week.
Yeah, we're recording
You
a
got
new
the
one
voice
soon.
for that.
Coming
Thank
different.
you, bro.
Yeah,
That's his thing now. I've seen it every single episode. He just likes to
The
throw that into
Patreon?
the picture.
Drew
Listen,
came
gotta get
from
the
Real
Patreon up.
Madrid, and he got us these shot glasses.
So I
So-
came from Madrid. The
Madrid.
team is Real
Oh, my
Madrid.
bad.
Yes.
We're not
Again,
even-
I was just in Spain. Shout out. I'm wearing the Barcelona jersey.
So
But yes, I
what
did.
we're going to do, I think, is that on the Patreon episode, get a shot. Or drink a shot.
Great idea,
so-
man.
yeah.
Great idea.
Patreon's
So we
much
gonna get
more
drunk
laid
with
back.
the Patreon.
Yeah, we're just chatting it up.
That's just gonna be
Cute little
dumb
shot
funny.
glass. Got it for the gang.
The first topic of the show.
It's almost like
Take it easy over
the
there.
Lakers waited for you to get back.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
It was electric.
Mhm.
I couldn't believe it.
Let's get into it.
On to the first topic of the show. The Lakers traded for Patrick Beverley. They traded Talen, Horton-Tucker, and Stanley Johnson. Now, what are your first reactions, your first thoughts to the trade? And what do you think this means for Russell Westbrook? We know that him and Pat Bev have some beef. Will they squash it? Will they put it aside? Will Russ eventually get traded? What are your thoughts, and where do you think everything's going to lead to?
So initially, with Pat Beverley joining my Lakers, I'm thrilled. We needed someone that could defend the perimeter and hit open jumpers. That's Pat Bev. Career 37% from the 3-point line. And he is one of those guys. I don't want to say this again because y'all are gonna clown me, but he's one of those guys that likes to jaw and gets into the opposing team's ears and makes them feel it. He is that type of guy, a guy that when he's on your squad, you absolutely love him. But when you're playing against him, he's one of those guys that you want absolutely nothing to do with. I'm thrilled now that Pat Bev, I had to close my eyes, pause, because I knew that if I looked at you guys, I wouldn't have been able to get that sentence off, so I'm happy that I got through it.
Hey, you a wildin'.
Yeah, I was. Anyways, one of those guys that when he's on your team, you love him, and I'm ready to love Patrick Beverley. He's going to impact our team mostly on the defensive end, but we desperately needed someone that can hit shots from the outside. Now there's a little bit less responsibility on Anthony Davis in that sense, where now he can just roam around the box and really just focus on being the best shot blocker there is that we need him to be. Yes, he's going to be the floor general for us too, but at the same time, he has someone on the perimeter that he can trust and rely on, and it's not so much pressure on him on the defensive side of the ball. In terms of Russell Westbrook now and his stance with the team, at first I was under the same belief as a lot of other guys that this now means that Russell Westbrook is most likely being moved. But now you see the tweets from LeBron and Pat Bev both saying that that Russ is going to have a good season. Now, you could either interpret it as LeBron's being an evil villain, saying that, he's going to have a great season elsewhere, or you can just take it like a normal human being and think, yes, LeBron firmly believes that Russell's going to have success, which I think you believe, which is weird to me.
That what?
That LeBron meant this in a backward.
No, I just think it's nasty work.
See, that's the thing. I don't think LeBron
Because
works like that.
I think behind the scenes LeBron has been advocating for a Russell Westbrook trade. So for him
how
to
do
say,
we know that?
So for him to say, watch this Russell
got that
Westbrook
type of pull.
breakout season.
but
Wouldn't
how
LeBron
do-
prefer to play
how
with
do
Kyrie
we-
than Westbrook?
Wouldn't you?
That is
I'm
a
not
fact.
saying it's a good or bad
It's
thing.
Kyrie Irving. My point being is
It's like me saying,
it's all
I
speculation.
think
Like,
you're
that's
gonna
all
be, I think you're
speculation.
gonna be great next year, just not here.
That's the thing. I don't think LeBron would do something like that.
You don't think? Okay. Well, time will tell.
I
Time will
agree,
tell.
but LeBron, if history has shown me anything, he has never been grimy, never been slimy in that type of manner. So, yes, I understand where people are coming from with the sense of we just got Pat Bev. It makes Russell Westbrook even more likely to be gone. But after that, I just think that LeBron sees something that is going to work with Russell Westbrook being in the lineup. Patrick Beverley's probably going to be our sixth man coming off the bench. He's probably going to get a lot of minutes down the stretch as well. But I think that they really want to run it back with Russ. And I understand that you want to right the wrongs of last season. A lot of people were making jokes. A lot of people on the show were making jokes about the Lakers, and rightfully so. Listen, they were an embarrassment to a degree. Extremely underwhelming. I think that they want to right that wrong, and they want to justify what happened.
So for me, when looking at this trade, I really like it. I do. Now, you talked about Patrick Beverley coming off the bench. I don't like the idea of that personally because you look at the Lakers right now, there are 3 starters, Russell, LeBron, and AD.
Austin Reeves, bro.
Austin Reeves, is he an actual starter?
He's really good.
I think he's
I
a
like
good
Austin
player.
Reeves.
Is he a starter? I don't know if he's a starter just yet. You have holes at the shooting guard position, if not the center / power forward position, whatever position AD decides to play. The other position is a hole.
Austin Reeves is probably going to be our shooting guard, but
Thomas Bryant.
that's another one. Facts.
And I don't think he's a quality starter either.
No, yeah, he's like a 6-man type of vibe.
Pat Bev is thrilled to join the Lakers, and I think why not? Because you're getting to play with LeBron, Anthony Davis, and this is exactly what Darvin Ham wants. He wants a tough-nosed, tough-minded player that plays defense, that spaces the floor. That's what Pat Bev is, and the good thing about this trade is that, for one, you get rid of Talen Horton-Tucker, who doesn't fit next to these guys.
He doesn't.
Number 2, Patrick Beverley is on an expiring contract for next season, not this upcoming season, but the season after this. The only contracts on the books for the Lakers are AD and LeBron. They have a boatload of cap space. They can sign high-quality free agents in free agency if this year doesn't pan out. But to talk about Patrick Beverley, last year was a down year for him. And he shot 34% from 3, 38% for his career, though. But this past season, he graded in the 94th percentile in playmaking and shot 38% on catch-and-shoot threes and 47% from the corner, and that's on a down-shooting season. So Pat Bev brings playmaking, he brings shooting, he brings a tough-minded, really great defender.
Absolutely.
And to me, the only thing that is holding me back from being fully on board is whether or not Russell Westbrook will be on the team. If Russell Westbrook's on the team, I don't think this team goes anywhere. I don't think they go far. I think this addition is pretty much meaningless. If they trade Westbrook, I think the Lakers have a chance to be a true championship contender.
Now, why is it meaningless?
With the pieces they get? Because I think you can't win a championship with Russell Westbrook. And if your goal is to win a championship and Russell Westbrook's on your team, you're not on the right track.
So just because of Russ and his place.
Because of Russ, and he just can't. It's hard for him to fit next to other players.
I don't overly disagree, but I just can't doubt a legend. You know what I mean? Ultimately, that's what's holding me back. Russell Westbrook is a legend to the game.
All right. Wow. He is a legend, but
out of his prime.
It's just
he is.
It's just analyzing the player he is today.
I don't disagree at all with what you're saying. It's just sometimes you just can't say that's very disrespectful to say, but it's got some substance to it. I'm not saying
if Russ played a different role, you probably could. But the
100%.
current role that Russ wants to play, you probably can't win a championship.
The Lakers' current starters: Westbrook, Pat Bev, LeBron, AD, and Thomas Bryant. Hypothetically, now I've seen on Twitter a lot that this trade is leading to a Russell Westbrook trade, and there are 2 options. One of them is a 3-team deal with the Jazz and the Knicks. The Knicks get Donovan Mitchell, of course. The Jazz get Westbrook and picks. And the Lakers would get Bojan Bogdanovic and Jordan Clarkson. Now, the other hypothetical option in trade is to the Pacers, Russ and 2 first-round picks, and according to sources, it's the second first-round pick, the second unprotected first, that the Lakers are unwilling to involve in the deal. And that's for Buddy Hield and Miles Turner. Now, I think if the Lakers go into next season with Pat Bev, Buddy Hield, LeBron, Miles Turner, and Anthony Davis, I think that's a team that can contend.
It's a formidable team.
Make some moves to round off the bench, but that team, to me, can contend in the West if they are healthy.
That's the
but
perfect
currently, with Russell Westbrook in this Pat Bev edition, it does nothing for me.
Well, I don't fully agree with Joel, but I don't fully disagree. I think Pat Bev, even if Westbrook's on the team, I still think this is a good move because it makes you better than what you were 2 days ago. I think getting Pat Bev, a player like that who can play making limited minutes, who can shoot the ball, who can defend at a high level, this is a player you bring to a team with only 3, as of right now, 4 good players. 4 and some change because Austin Reeves is all right. So 4 and some change.
2 elite players.
Yeah,
and then
so it's like bringing him in to fill out the rotation is huge. Now, those trades, I don't know if this makes Westbrook tradable because I still don't think a team wants him. I still think he's going to be on the roster. You could take that comment 3 ways with LeBron. Either 1, nasty work. 2, he legitimately doesn't know if Westbrook's going to get traded. Or, well, no, it's just those 2 ways. So I'm not going to take it either. I'm just going to stay out the mix and just say this is the team they're walking in with. Westbrook will be on the roster. And if you get a guy like Pat Bev, that's good. Like I said, I do agree with that part. I don't think they're a championship team right now. I still don't think they have enough pieces. Does Pat Bev help move the needle a little bit? Yeah, but it doesn't help move into the terms of winning a championship because he's not that type of player. He's a good role player, but he's not a player that's going to change a team that much. But just speaking on the move, you traded nothing for something. You traded THT, who literally wasn't good with the Lakers. He wasn't going to fit with the Lakers, for a player that fits next to LeBron, fits next to Anthony Davis, and even at points fits next to Westbrook because he's a floor spacer. He's somebody who doesn't need the ball. He can space the floor, and he can defend at a high level. So getting that is just always huge. But I think overall this is just a great move for the Lakers, something that they literally fixed their offseason by getting a player like this because they haven't been able to do much. So this is a great move for them. But if they can trade Westbrook, I like the Indiana one. I think Buddy Hield, who's a great shooter, Miles Turner, who's a really, really good defender. I think bringing in him along with Anthony Davis, you put Anthony Davis and Miles Turner together. That's dope. You get Buddy Hield with Pat Bev next to LeBron. LeBron can go back to playing the one. That's huge. You just got two floor spaces next to him. So I think that's the best move for them. I like Bogdanovich and Jordan Clarkson, but I prefer the floor spaces and the guy don't need the ball as much.
This was a LeBron move. We've seen it throughout his career, going, training the young players, getting the vets type of guys he likes. And the Lakers needed someone like this. You guys mentioned someone who could shoot, defend, but also bring that dog mentality that Darvin Ham was talking about in his press conference and really throughout his time as Lakers head coach over these last few months. Someone's going to come in, be willing to play with the system, play defense, and play hard. And, ultimately, I think LeBron has to sign off on it because it's LeBron. He's the GM. He makes all the moves, basically, that happen with the Lakers for right or wrong. But you also look at the roster last year where it was a ton of old players, a ton of players who really couldn't shoot. And now this year, you guys kind of did the opposite, right? You only have a handful of players who have a lot of experience in the league. Now Pat Bev bringing over in his 30s, another veteran there. So overall, it's a great move for the Lakers. Like you said, Riv, you're better than you are 2 days ago. So you'll take that, especially with the way the Lakers are currently constructed and the current teams in the West. If they don't make this move, even with this move, I mean, they're still
gonna be
bottom
tough.
of the West.
They're
a fringe playoff
Bottom
team.
of the West is crazy.
You're around the 7-8
Bottom
seed
of the
right
West
now.
in terms of the seeding. Not the
LeBron
bottom
and
of
AD
the
stay
West.
healthy. We're making the playoffs. Lock.
But
Yeah, but
that's
where?
Not guaranteed.
You're not a 4
If
seed.
AD and LeBron are healthy, it's
but
a
I'm saying
lock.
that's not
You're
a
not a-
guarantee.
you're not
The
a
health
4
part-
seed.
The health part is.
But you're also not a 4 seed.
So which,
Like you're,
They're
what I'm
both
saying?
healthy. You're not a top 4 lock seed.
No.
if LeBron and AD are healthy,
Yeah, you're not top 4. You were
Have you
great
looked at
that
the
year
West?
because of not only them two being great, you had great role players.
I'm not disagreeing. You turned his mic off.
I know it's an accident.
But
Turn me off.
he did. That was crazy. And if you would have mentioned AD shooting, because this is ultimately what I feel like. If AD can get back to any type of resemblance to that 2020 season of his shooting, then I'm a little bit more comfortable with the
You talk
roster.
about the
as it
3-pointer or
currently
the mid-range?
The 3-point. It's solely the
You
3-point.
really think that's him?
No, I don't, because
I feel like the
clearly this last
mid-range,
two
he can get back to that.
I think the mid-range is still, it's not what it was, clearly, but it's still serviceable. It's still decent. But what really is important to me is the 3-point shooting, because we still lack jump shooting. And him being unable to hit the jumper consistently has definitely hurt us in the long run. We need him to get back onto that track. And then I'm comfortable, a little bit more at ease, I should say, with the current roster as it is right now.
So where do you think you could finish? You get
With
60,
us,
you
with
get
the health-
65, 70 games out of both of them.
We
Best case
we definitely
scenario.
could be the 4 seed.
A fourth is crazy.
No, it's not.
The fourth is nuts.
Healthy LeBron, healthy AD.
The Clippers, the Warriors, the Nuggets.
LeBron and AD
The
haven't been
Timberwolves.
healthy.
Grizzlies.
Number one, even if they're healthy, they
Grizzlies,
still
the
need
Suns.
role players around.
I don't disagree, but
The West
they're
is
still
tough.
good enough.
To get a fourth right now.
What's the starting
can.
lineup right now?
I mean, you just rattled it off.
Reeves
right there.
got to start.
Re-
man.
Reeves is going to start.
You think that's a
Westbrook,
good
Reeves,
starting
Bryant.
lineup?
That's not a
I think Reeves is a
that's
solid
not a 4
defender.
seed in the
He's-
West.
I think we have to stop putting an expect. See, this is what happens with
I mean, he
Lakers
played
fans.
well last season. It's not nothing to put expectations on. He
No,
actually
no.
played
No,
well.
the
The-
starting
the
five is
odds-
not a top 4 seed.
The odds of players that are in their second season that are this young that are able to really contribute to a championship contending team
It's rare breed.
are very slim to none. That's why Austin Reeves, he could be a good role player, but there's a reason why the Warriors on their bench had a bunch of talented young players and really didn't play any of them in the playoffs because usually they're not ready for that moment. Austin Reeves, did he have flashes in the regular season? Sure. In the playoffs, do you trust him in this series? No, I don't.
He said the same shit about Alex Caruso.
And that's why,
He was more
Alex
seasoned.
Caruso,
Like a 5-year
yeah,
player.
he was in the league for a while. He finally found his footing. I think Austin Reeves, the expectation of him being a starter, I think is a bit unfair. He's a good bench player. He's a good role player. He can
He could
give
be
you
a
some
good role
minutes.
player as a starter.
In the play in his minutes, let's say if you guys make the playoffs, he can give you a good 10 to 12 minutes. But for him to play 20-plus
But
minutes,
I think he can start in the
in
regular
high-leverage
season and then
situations,
don't start in the
I don't see
playoffs.
it. I think ultimately,
Who replaces him?
Then that's when you plug in Pat Bev.
I think ultimately, when you have a player in Russell Westbrook that teams leave open in the playoffs, you can't win with him. Especially, you're already questioning Anthony Davis's ability to space the floor. Now you're talking about Westbrook, who,
Well, that we know.
I mean, he's gonna get left open.
It's true.
Wide open.
It's true.
And that
Simmons treatment.
totally defeats the game plan of a team that, how can you get past a defense leaving one of your players wide open? It's really virtually
Just
impossible.
needs to hit the mid-range. If he just
I don't like
wasn't
that
so bad at
Westbrook,
shooting.
Pat Bev, LeBron, AD, Bryant lineup.
And are we just going to totally act like Westbrook and Pat Bev are going to be buddy, and after
I think they'll be
I think
fine.
Pat Bev
after
will get
years
past
of
it.
beef history, after they don't like each other.
With LeBron there, they'll make it work.
I think
I really don't
Pat
worry
Bev
about that.
ego ain't when he on the team trying to win. I don't think his ego
I
is
agree.
that too big.
Westbrook's
it's really
the
just
same way.
Westbrook. So
I think Westbrook's the same way. He's going to try to win.
I feel like Westbrook definitely holds grudges.
he probably does, but I think it would be
Why
the
are we
problem.
pretending to know players?
But I feel like
just
Westbrook,
said
he
you know
definitely
LeBron.
definitely holds
Well,
something against
he has a
Pat
whole
Bev.
laundry list of seasons.
And LeBron makes shit work. When has there ever been teammates hating each other on
Yeah,
LeBron's
that's true.
team?
That's what I'm saying.
Just
We're talking
just
about.
going
Well,
off
Kyrie-
of Westbrook's
shit.
ferociousness.
That's worst case.
I
Or
think
loss.
he's not somebody that takes these beefs lightly. Like I think
Pat Bev has spoken highly of Westbrook.
do we think that
So would Damon
Westbrook-
and Westbrook not be able to make it work because they have beef? No.
I don't think Westbrook or Dame would ever want to be on the same team together.
I'm
think
sure
that
that
part is true.
Westbrook never wanted to be on a team with Pat
Do you
Bev.
think
Here we
Westbrook
are.
knew about this trade before it happened?
Probably.
Do you think so, or do you think it just shocked them?
Well, honestly, I
Like
don't think
us?
that to correct my statement, I don't think that Westbrook has that type of stain within the organization. Like maybe they said, "Yo,
What do you think? What do you think Westbrook's reaction was
so
when he saw
what
Patrick
it was
Beverley's on my
actually?
team now?
What happened was, if I had to guess, Westbrook, we're making the trade for Pat Bev. Whether you like it or not, it's happening. We're letting you know beforehand. That's it.
I mean, Darvin Ham loves Westbrook. So if the coach loves you,
And that really was one of the main reasons why Darvin Ham got the job, to make it work with Russell Westbrook, because they understand this season, it most likely he will be on the roster.
Westbrook, yeah,
Sure.
he will not be.
I think the Lakers have to stop being stubborn. Include the second fucking pick and get Buddy Hield and Miles Turner, because the championship window's now.
But
But here's the
let
thing:
me-
how many times have we sat here and said Miles Turner's unreliable?
Wait, can I ask a
Because
question?
yes, I'm with you. I
Russell
agree. He
Westbrook's
gives him-
unreliable.
Do y'all think those reports are actual truth, or you think Indiana would accept that?
Yes, because I think the Lakers' pick in those years are going to be very bad. And I think Buddy Hield is somebody that doesn't fit their timeline, and neither does Miles Turner.
But-
I think they want to give those Turner minutes to Isaiah Jackson and Buddy Hield. I
But
think
there
they
was
want
a
to give
report.
those minutes to Mathurin.
But there was a report that came out that they would say they was set in stone on keeping Miles Turner with Halliburton. And although Hield probably doesn't fit their timeline, he fits next to Halliburton right now at this
Very
very
well.
moment. Westbrook kind of doesn't. He messes up Halliburton's timeline unless you're just gonna buy him out. But if he's gonna stay on the roster, I don't see how them two like that. I don't see how, if you want Halliburton to keep developing, bringing in Westbrook makes any sense.
Well-
Hield, if anything, helps Halliburton's development.
Wasn't
Turner
the trade,
helps too.
Didn't the trade have Westbrook going to the Jazz?
Two different trades.
Oh,
Two different.
yeah.
That's
Oh,
a
that was the
three-teamer.
Clarkson, yeah,
That's a
yeah.
I
three-teamer.
think Westbrook probably most likely gets bought out in whichever spot, though.
Okay. What if he gets?
Like the Boyan and Clarkson trade, for me at least, makes a little bit more sense because we need more offensive guys. We need guys that we can trust to hit his jump shot. We have
where are you
t-
putting Boyan? Are you starting him
Yeah, for sure. You'd have
at the
to.
three?
Why not?
AD plays the 5.
If we want to win a championship,
I think the
Anthony
lineup-
Davis needs to be our center.
So then Boyan's at the 4.
Him
Or
or LeBron.
could be at the 4. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah. So those are your wings.
Yes.
So that's your front court.
Yes,
It'd
and
be
then Jordan
Russ-
Clarkson can come
Clarkson's,
off the bench.
yeah, he's coming up.
No,
the
Russ
bench.
is gone.
Oh, yeah,
Russ
you're
is
right.
gone. So we have Pat Bev, probably
Reeves.
LeBron, Boyan, and AD. That's a more than
good.
fine starting lineup.
That's a first-round exit.
That is the first round exit, most likely.
Why though? We
Unless
have
LeBron
solid
and AD
perimeter
backpacks
defense. We
the
have
shit out
really
of
good
it.
offense.
Teams are just better.
I think that is a
It's
first-round exit.
LeBron and AD. Like that's the thing.
They will
that
have
you
to
guys just
backpack.
are just.
They'll have to
And
backpack.
why can't they?
One thing's for certain. I think
we don't
Patrick
know
Do you
if
feel the
they're
same
Beverley-
about the Nets?
To
They
a
have, a better,
degree,
they have a better roster
For
around them than
sure.
the Lakers.
No
but do you feel
doubt.
the same way? It's just Katie and Kyrie.
you
they'll
do
it.
have to give them that respect. The only thing is, one, I've seen AD and LeBron win a championship. That's why I'm a little bit more confident. But yes, I feel not exactly the same.
They have the same problem in terms of two
No doubt.
guys who don't need to be
No
guarded.
doubt. But I want stuff to fill out our roster that makes sense for us right now. We need shooters.
Well, I think either trade makes sense in the sense of
No
just
doubt.
getting the
Makes
team
them
better.
better.
Only thing
Yeah.
is, I think that The Jazz trade is a little bit more safer, where the Pacers one's a little bit more risky. We lose both future picks, and then on top of it, we're getting Miles Turner, who, yes, is a great shot blocker, but cannot stay on the court either. So we give Anthony
I think
Davis
the potential of the Indiana trade puts you in that champ. Like, I'm not going to say it puts you 1. It may not put you 2, but it puts you in the conversation of we can win a championship with this roster. Like, that's a sneaky great team, bro. But
so is the one with the Boyan and Jordan.
But I just like the idea of AD if Turner is healthy, AD and Turner as
I get that
defense. I like with Pat Bev now. I like that better than Clarkson. I know it's more offense, but you get offense and defense.
AD now plays the 4, which he wants to play. He doesn't want to
at his best.
But enough of this wants to play because clearly he's at his. When we won the championship, he was dominant at the 5.
But he played the 4 sometimes.
No, he was dominant.
He had to play McGee.
But against the Nuggets, he was
because he had to guard the Joker.
Exactly.
But
we want to win a championship.
That's different.
But that's my whole point.
That's different. It doesn't AD, even if he's playing the 4, he's going to take the toughest assignment on whatever big man he's playing.
Absolutely.
What really Anthony Davis does, he doesn't want to consistently bang down low with these guys.
And that bothers me.
That's because he's not a big.
He's a finesse player.
Yeah, AD is not a big, never been a big.
But when we see him take the big approach, he's dominant.
He just wants help. He don't want to be the rim protector and go guard. He don't want to do that. I understand.
Ultimately, Patrick Beverley, I think, is one of those guys in the NBA that goes to your team and he changes the culture.
You will make the playoffs. I will say that. I believe wholeheartedly you guys are definitely locked for the playoffs.
I agree.
Patrick Beverley,
Russell or
Tucker.
not. You're saying Russell or not, we're making the playoffs.
Yes.
I agree.
Sounds like we all agree they need one more move for them to be in that championship
no
conversation.
doubt. I mean, I'm right now, I'm still not, after last season, there's no way you can say that this
unless
is
LeBron
roster.
turns into 2018 LeBron.
Which is not crazy. It's not crazy. He's LeBron James. Just averaged 30.
You have to go through the Warriors, the Clippers. Those are two teams that...
Yeah, well, in 2018, you played the Pacers, you played the baby-ass Celtics, and you played
LeBron's
DeMar.
37, my bad.
Yeah.
Turns 38.
This is a different type of role, you know what I'm saying?
It's a very different road. Like, you're going to have a tough opponent.
No, I get it, but this ain't DeMar, Jason Tatum,
I don't want to just throw
Victor
this on
Oladipo.
LeBron
This ain't
because
that.
it's this guy. It's all dependent on him.
Just saying.
Anthony Davis needs to be Anthony Davis for this to even be a conversation. Simple.
One of the young players that got traded to the Utah Jazz in this deal was Talen Horton-Tucker. He's still young, 21 years old. He's under contract for this year at $10 million. But next year, he has a player option. So depending on how he does in Utah, he could get a big-time contract from a team if he plays well in Utah. Now, we know it's tough to play with LeBron if you're a young player and you're trying to find your footing in the league. So do you think this change of scenery is going to ultimately reveal the true Talen Horton-Tucker, and he's going to excel in Utah and be a pretty good player for them?
Riv, I'll go first. If you could just do me a favor and plug in my laptop, I'd really appreciate that. Not to talk about Talen Horton-Tucker. No, I don't believe so. And ultimately, I feel this way because, one, you're going to the Jazz where, yes, they're definitely a free-flowing type offense, but the reason why is there's just guys ahead of him right now. Donovan Mitchell, Jordan Clarkson, Bojan Bogdanovic, Mike Conley. There's not going to be a situation where Talen Horton-Tucker is going to be told, here, THT, take the ball, go get a bucket. There's too many guys in front of him with similar roles on the squad right now. Now that he's going to be with the Jazz, I don't see a world where he gets better. He got more minutes with us. He had more opportunity with us. And he's not a great shooter by any means. He's not a great playmaker by any means. Cannot go left. Poor dribbler. What can he really do? Nothing much that is going to impact the team. And I just don't see a world where THT gets better with the Jazz.
I'm not going to buy stock. I think Utah is probably going to be looked at as an opportunity for young guys the young guys who didn't get a chance to shine definitely get their opportunity. But I think Donovan will be moved, so I think THT will have it. It's just, for me, it depends on how many young guys come from New York. Because, like we said, Grimes is a guard. Cam Reddish is a guard/forward. Maybe it quickly gets thrown in the deal. That's another guard. Obi, well, he's a forward, so I'm not really. But
Fournier.
Yeah, that's another guy. I really hope they don't play him, though, if they want the young guys to play. But, these are young players that could obviously be better than THT. THT, it sucks that he got drafted to the Lakers. It sucks that LeBron put that type of expectation on him. It really does suck because he didn't live up.
LeBron or Lakers fans?
Both. LeBron did gas him.
And media.
Media, too.
All LeBron said was that he thought he was going to be good.
I think he said more than good.
No, he said he was going to be. He's next. That's what he said. He said he's next.
Yeah,
he lied.
I saw a clip on Twitter about it was when Giannis first signed his deal with the Bucks. He signed his extension, and it was Jay Williams giving his thoughts on what happened. And the question was, now, Jay Will, do you think that Giannis can win a championship in the 10-year of his contract? And Jay Will was like, I don't know. It's going to be very tough because I look at the Lakers and I look at guys like, Talen, Horton-Tucker and how he's playing in the depth they have. It's going to be very hard for the Bucks to win.
That's so tough, man.
That's the first dude he said.
That's insane.
Wow. Yeah, I don't have stock in THT. He has a lot of weaknesses in his hole, but I think he'll have the opportunity. Oh, yeah, that was crazy. Yeah, weaknesses in his game. I'm smacked, y'all. Chill. Yeah, weaknesses in his hole. That was nuts. Yeah, he has a lot of weaknesses in his game, so it's really.
There are times to charm. It's all right. Go ahead. Keep going. You're
wait,
good. No, you're good.
I
You're
said
good.
it right.
Yeah,
Oh
you
yeah,
did.
he laughing at me and shit. Yeah, I'm not buying stock. His raps. He has no left hand. He can't dribble. I watched the clip of THT's worst moments on Twitter. The Mark Jackson burn.
I was mad.
I was screaming because
so
it's a
mad.
bunch of bad shots. Like just
I was watching that
he's
shit with
losing
a
his
tear
mind.
falling down
Yeah.
my face. I was
feel
so
bad.
sad.
There's a lot of expectations on him.
I'm cautiously optimistic about this move. I
I'm
think
sure
that
you are.
There's so much. Like, I'm interested.
I think
Sorry.
Talen Horton-Tucker, you look at the stats, they don't look good. Terrible splits.
There we go.
He is just 21 years old. That's very young. And a team like Utah, I do think Donovan Mitchell gets traded fairly soon to the Knicks. I think Boyan is probably gone too. I think Conley, maybe they trade him, maybe they buy him out. It really depends on what happens. But, Talen Horton-Tucker, it's not really about him getting to his spots. He gets to his spots. He just doesn't capitalize on them. Like THT, he averaged 10 drives per game last year, which was 78th in the league out of 355 players. And mind you, this is limited opportunity, but he finished below average in terms of field goal percentage at the basket, below average spot-up shooter. So his problem is not getting to his spots. His problem is being efficient and capitalizing on them. I think with a team like Utah, those drives per games go up. I think he does capitalize on a bit more. I do think that him playing with the Lakers next to a guy like LeBron, where Talen Horton-Tucker is now a spot-up shooter, that doesn't fit him because he's not a good shooter. But now in Utah, when you have the ball in your hands a little bit more, you're able to initiate. I think that he'll be better. And will he, I think the real question is, what's Talen Horton-Tucker's ceiling? I view him that I think he can be a starter. I think he has a ceiling of a starter, or maybe maybe a better role player off the bench, maybe like a Shannon Brown or something like that.
Not a
That's
starting
not a good
championship team. Yeah.
Shannon Brown was good for a
Who has
point
a
guard.
higher ceiling, Austin Reeves or THT?
Austin
THT.
Reeves.
Austin Reeves.
I think Austin Reeves has the ability to fit around stars better, but I think Talen Horton-Tucker
which is why
can be
I
a better
say
player.
Man,
And THC also struggles with defense, which is huge, but I do think,
he has the wingspan for it.
I do think, for one, Talen Horton-Tucker finally got traded for something that is worth around his value. For the past couple of years, he's been one of the guys that a lot of fans have laughed at because he's involved in these lucrative packages, these packages for established stars. Oh, yeah, the trade piece the Lakers put in there is THT. And that's why he's gotten a bad rap. But trading him for a quality starting point guard, I think with the upside he has as a young player, and especially since Pat Bev's on an expiring deal, he got traded for what his value is around.
I'm gonna be honest. As of today, that's his value is way below what Pat Bev.
On an expiring deal, I think it's pretty similar.
You don't think the deal makes sense for both sides?
It makes sense for Utah completely.
Utah wants to
Utah
get
completely.
younger,
I'm gonna miss.
and
I'm
the
gonna,
Lakers want to get better now.
The Lakers.
I'm gonna miss Stanley.
Does
If
this
I'm
not
gonna leave it a
this
stack
makes
with
the
you.
deal them better for the Lakers?
Losing
now?
Stanley hurts.
He was okay.
This
Nah, but
guy's
he's a
talking
good
about
defender,
losing
one of our better
Stanley
defenders.
Hurts.
Can't
This
shoot.
guy's
we
in
need
shambles.
You're talking about interior
That's like
defense.
that's like
Interior
their
Yo,
fifth
he's
defending.
player.
down
He was
bad.
solid.
You talk about Stanley Johnson
Bro,
losing him
interior
hurts.
defense,
He's a
he's
Laker fan.
solid. That's it. That's all I'm saying. He did more for us last season than THT.
Well, I mean,
That's facts.
That's not saying
Well,
much.
that's why
I
they're not a
agree.
championship team.
Is Stanley going to play in Utah? I highly doubt it.
I mean, now that Rudy Gobert's gone, they probably need someone
He's a
down.
small forward.
Nah, but
he's
he
not a
plays,
center.
He plays a small ball big.
He plays the 4. He's fucking
tall is
shit.
he?
He's 6'7".
Yeah,
The
that's
Stanley
what I was gonna
Johnson
say.
hype is
No, but
over.
you just heard what Drew said, though.
I didn't.
He's a small ball
I,
big.
I tuned out.
He was like, now that Gobert's out,
They need someone
Stanley.
to play in interior defense. That's
He's
what
not
he did
playing,
for
bro.
us.
I mean, if he played,
I mean, this
he only
roster's
played for y'all
bad.
because you had to.
240.
You had nobody
you're
out
right.
there.
You didn't have a
So
choice.
you had to
You're
play
they
right.
had a wing in
realistically.
Gabriel.
Yeah, come on. He was playing. He's horrible.
Listen, our team was not good.
You just had to run guys out there at that point. Just
We're praying.
go in there and just
Prayers were going unanswered.
do something.
unfortunately.
Get a hustle play.
That's all they were looking for.
Yeah, like just
guys that can hustle.
Yeah, just get a hustle play.
Don't
Get a
embarrass
dive
us.
on the floor. Show me something
Show some
meaningful.
heart.
Yeah, like
That's what
fight.
you're looking for.
This shit bad.
The Jazz have a lot of players 25 or under. Walker Kessler, Jared Butler, Talen Horton-Tucker.
They just drafted Walker, right?
Yeah. Azubuike, Nikhil Alexander-Walker. Walker Kessler's from the Minnesota trade.
Oh, okay.
Leandro Bolmero, Malik Beasley, and Donovan Mitchell. Those are the players 25
Easy
or
going
under.
to take up some minutes.
For
30.
sure.
Yeah, definitely.
He can average 20 legitimately. in
THG has a
Utah.
chance to increase his value though.
Who, Malik?
Being on a young team, they trade.
I don't
will
think
trade
Mike
Mitchell,
Conley, they're going to
but
have to buy out. I
Wait,
don't think
if
nobody's
D-Mitch
putting out
is
the trade
traded.
for I don't think
Yeah.
nobody's putting out the trade for Mike Conley.
Even by the trade deadline, most of these vets are probably going to be
Buy
off the team if
Bring
they're not
me-
off the
bring
team
me
by
Mike
the season
Conley.
starts. So THG will have a chance to prove something, being a role player on a bad team.
Yeah.
Mike Conley is cooked, bro.
I would take him in a heartbeat.
Oh,
I don't know.
as you should.
I don't know. Him and
more
Westbrook. Hey, he ain't saying
True,
yeah.
true.
I mean, Mike Conley's smarter.
I would take Conley over Westbrook.
I watched him travel
And
in
he
the
can hit.
closeout
He
game.
can hit
Fucking
shots.
travel. Like, how do you travel as a grown ass man in the NBA game for
It
the win?
happens.
This is for the win,
Oh, yeah,
though.
nah, he choked.
Like,
You're right.
come on, in
100%.
Utah, he's traveling and shit. Embarrassing. But yeah, he's smarter than Westbrook, so I give him that.
Who would you rather take right now, Mike Conley or Kyle Lowry?
Kyle Lowry.
Kyle Lowry, but it's not saying much.
Well, Kyle Lowry,
He's cooked too.
he is.
Yeah, he
cooked.
is cooked.
He's a hamstring. You know,
You're right.
Thick guys.
You're right. He
The
is
hamstring
thick.
really. You know.
Conley, we know it is. Lowry just chalking up to
I would
injury.
take Lowry, but
Oh,
again, like I
I
said,
like Lowry's leadership. I like
Okay.
the way he
That's
comes
fair.
into the locker
You
room.
like the way he's
takes charge.
built.
I do. I love the way he's built, in fact.
You're
but
nuts.
I really
Crazy.
like the way he portrays himself in the locker room, the way he,
Oh, that's it.
Vocal.
That's all you have
his
to say.
mannerism,
Yeah, absolutely.
his leadership qualities.
The Utah Jazz are going into a full rebuild, I think we can all say.
When are you guys getting Donovan Mitchell?
I think it's
We're
going to
all
be within the
waiting.
next 2 weeks.
It's like
I
the
feel like you
excitement
said
is
that.
over now at
I
this
feel like you
point.
said that
Like
a month ago.
I said that earlier in the week.
Oh,
you
okay.
said that last week.
How the hell are the Knicks gonna? I mean, why did the Jazz want that trade?
They
Let's
want
be
just
real.
hella young
They
players.
want a lot of picks.
The picks are what's intriguing. That's really it. I agree.
I think the Jazz are going into a full rebuild. They're one of the younger teams now. A team that's very young is the OKC Thunder, and they just lost their second overall pick for the season in Chet Holmgren. He injured his foot in the Pro-Am crossover game when
Torn ligament.
LeBron
Yeah.
Sad.
drove on him. Unfortunate injury. Liz Frank injury to his right foot, ruptured tendon in his foot, but it's not a fracture. The Thunder are optimistic about his long-term recovery, but they are going to be very conservative about his recovery. And Holmgren has already resumed weight training and shooting training without putting too much pressure on his foot. But this is a huge loss for the OKC Thunder, who, you know, SGA is a very good player. Josh Giddey's second year. Lou Dort is a very good 3-and-D player. He can also create. With Chet there was some hype around them maybe making a play-in push. I highly doubt it, but there was some hype there about it. I was looking at this, and the Thunder actually have an insurance reimbursement of 80% of Holmgren's per-game salary, which means that they're going to be reimbursed about $4 million.
That's fucked
Since
up.
he's
Does
not
Chet
gonna
not
play.
get that money?
I think Chet gets it. It's
Oh,
just
okay.
insurance, so they'll get the
I was
money
about to
too.
say,
That
that's
is fucked up.
Thank God.
It's going to be after he misses 41 games this season. I don't think this is the end-all, be-all. A lot of players have redshirted. Ben Simmons, Embiid,
But
Noel, Blake Griffin,
ideal,
Michael Porter
but-
Jr.,
Zion
can come
didn't
back.
Play a bunch of
Zion
games.
too.
You said Blake Griffin.
But do you think that this is? Yeah, I did. Do you think that this is concerning for Chet that he's already suffered a season-ending injury?
I
in
mean,
his foot.
a guy with that size, that frame, it's always going to be concerning anytime he gets a below the leg injury. Always. So it's always going to pop up. But if you watch the play, he came down wrong. So it's like that's a freak accident. It happens to everybody. It happens to Kyrie before. It's happened to D Rose. It happens. You fall down wrong, and it just I'm not going to make too much of a big deal about it. The size and the frame, of course, you're going to make it a big deal. But I think it's cool. Like, this is his first year, first go-around. He misses the year. It's fine. Like you said, it's happened to a bunch of players. It may not be the same situation, but they've all missed time at the beginning of their career to get their body right. And with a guy that size, with that type of frame, take the precaution. Okay, he's hurt. Sit out for the season. Maybe even take some time next season for him to get fully right. This is a young, exciting team. I know we wanted to see SGA, Giddey, Chet together, Trey Mann, Lugan Dortz. We wanted to see these guys together. It's tough, but it's fine. Now you get another year. Got young players. Maybe you tank again. Maybe you go get another high-level player. So it's
Victor.
I just feel getting Victor and Chet just don't
Scoot
make
Henderson.
I mean, why is that
If you
nuts?
get number one,
Too
you
many
get Victor and
guards.
figure it out.
Bro, why is that nuts?
You get number one.
Doesn't make sense.
Get Poku the hell out of there. You get Holmgren and you get Wembanyama?
Don't you think
That's
Victor's
the
a better?
crib.
don't
I'm
you
gonna
think
be
he's a better
honest.
prospect
If
than
I
Chet?
have one, I'm taking Scoot. So
Over Wembanyama.
yes,
Okay.
I'm taking Scoot.
Wow, that's
I'm not hip on Scoot
interesting.
yet, but
No, I am taking fucking Scoot.
Over
do you think Victor's a
Wembanyama.
better prospect than Chet?
Yes.
Yes.
That's why
Yeah.
when it comes down
But
to
you
it.
just
I'm
picked
shocked
You
to
just
hear
picked
this.
Victor.
You just picked Chet.
No,
I know
what I
what
mean
you're
by like
saying.
you just
Yeah, he took a
virtually
clone
picked
of
the
him.
same
Yeah.
guy. Yeah, just a lesser degree. So it's like, but yeah, I would take Scoot.
That's super interesting.
Is it?
I feel like you're in the
Have you-
minority for sure.
I am.
You're in the
I
minority.
am not in the minority. I'm in the 50-50.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like almost everything is maybe not 100-0,
Scoot-
but it's.
You're
Scoot is a dog.
Scoot is an elite level prospect.
I don't.
He's 17 years old.
I don't disagree with you, but I'm just saying the consensus out there is Victor is the number one prospect.
Fuck the
I'm not
consensus.
saying if you're
Well,
right
I mean,
or wrong.
if
I'm
we're
just
talking
saying,
like, because you got to think, Victor
Scoot
has
in the
injury
G League
problems.
was doing his thing.
Victor already has injury problems, so it's already like Scoot is sitting right there. He 17 years old. He's already got the NBA body.
He's Russell Westbrook.
I think
Scoot.
coming out, he's better.
Okay. I mean, we're talking about top 75. Russell
No, I
Westbrook.
mean just coming out of
as college players.
Like I think
Yeah.
Scoot. When I watch Scoot Henderson,
That's college.
I look at a player that very much resembles Russell Westbrook prime. Like that's how good this guy is.
Is he a better prospect than Ja?
yeah.
Victor
Coming out,
Wembanyama is
yeah.
basically Dirk Nowitzki.
Ja wasn't good
Like,
until like
let's-
19. Scoot 17
That's fair.
And in the G League, he was averaging like 15 a game on good
against
efficiency.
grown men. He's not a grown man. He cannot do anything.
But
Yeah,
he definitely
Victor's playing
to, do
grown
what
man.
he, to do what he did at
Can't
17
drive.
is amazing.
Huh?
He can't drive yet.
Victor?
No, Scoot.
Oh no!
Yes, he
oh,
can.
drive,
Yes, he can.
drive.
He can
Yeah,
drive.
Like drive a
He
car.
can
Scoot,
drive. You're being funny.
No, I'm telling you. I'm basically
17
telling you how young the
I
boy
think
is.
I think what's disappointing about this is that the Thunder are probably going to get another top pick, and I think they just have so many young players that it's hard to play these guys. Like you have SGA, you have Giddey, Dort,
Yeah.
Chet. Hypothetically, I know he's out for the season, but I'm talking about next season when they potentially draft another top prospect. A guy like Jalen Williams, they drafted Ousmane Dieng. They have a lot of young players. Trey Mann.
Somebody's got to pop.
It's hard
This
to
isn't-
develop all of these guys at once.
It's I don't know.
Like I feel like at this point, OKC just has too much young talent.
I think it's a bad
That's
thing.
not a bad thing.
I think it's
It
a
becomes a
for
bad
the
thing when
player.
you keep doing it.
In what sense?
Because I think young players now are having to fight for opportunities to play when that's normally the case when you're on a team that has veterans and that's competing and you're learning from vets. Now you have OKC who they have the 11th guy on the bench is 19 years old and has potential and can pop, and he's not learning from guys that are veterans in the league. He's learning from guys his age. They're competing constantly.
no
I just
learning
it makes for a bad dynamic.
The only thing I'll say is OKC's in a position where they've been bad. They have very great draft capital. If they're in a position where, yes, Ousmane Dieng was what, the 11th pick overall, if I'm remembering
Yeah.
correct?
It's the
You
next
have
pick.
obviously Josh Giddey, who was a top 7 pick. You're obviously favoring the guy that you take earlier in the draft. I understand your point. It's definitely valid, but OKC is in a position where if I'm using a high leverage draft pick, I'm gonna start this guy. I'm gonna make sure that this is my priority of development here because I understand that this isn't a regular prospect.
When are they going to start winning?
It could start in 2 seasons, depending on what happens. I don't think this year.
SGA
no way.
will be like 25, 26.
And SGA, we see what he is. We know the type of player SGA is. He is an extremely great basketball player, a top 30 basketball player.
OKC has 15 players 23 or younger.
I'm older than
That's
their
crazy.
older players.
15.
15.
The whole roster.
And they're
Literally, yeah.
the players that are older, SGA at 24,
it's like
Kenrich Williams at 27.
Kenrich just got
the
a little bit of a bag.
found-
Yeah, they paid him.
the starting 5 for them, right? Let's just get into the 5 for them.
SGA,
It's
Giddey,
SGA, Giddey,
Dortz.
Lugans, Dortz, Poku. We'll see what's going to
Poku's
happen
not
next
starting.
season. Exactly, which is why I'm not against Wembanyama. Poku can come off the bench and give you valuable minutes. And then you have Chet Holmgren. Like that.
Not right now.
I'm just
He's out
saying
for
that's
the year.
hypothetical. I'm just living in a hypothetical right now.
Baisley.
Next-
Is Baisley still there? Baisley
Yeah,
is
he
still
is
there.
there.
So Baisley will probably start. Baisley's a good defender.
He is
I like
solid.
Baisley. He'll probably start.
It's basically the same starting lineup from last
I feel like
year.
Poku's. What are you waiting on Poku
No,
for?
I mean I agree. I think you
Do
could
the Thunder
definitely
have
move
too
off
many young, good players and not enough
Star
great
pop-
players?
Yeah, like
I
that-
think
Do
that-
they
that-
not? Is SGA? Can he be the best player on a championship team? Can Chet be the
Well,
best player
I
on a
think it's
championship
too early
team?
to tell, but
Facts.
even then, I don't know
do.
if that's the ceiling.
I know, but it's. I understand having too many young
worse,
players, but I think they need to find, if they think SGA, yes, he's young, but he could get
I
there.
think
They need to
before
find
they
that
think
second,
about the
third guy.
championship, they got to see if they can be the best players on the playoff team first. Like, they got to figure that out.
Well, I
I
think
think what
SGA
hurts
is
what
the
hurts
best player
about
on the playoff
OKC
team.
is that their young players are players that have not really shown for an entire season they can be good. They have a couple games where they pop. You know, Trey Mann had a couple games where, wow, he looks really legit. But he didn't do that for the entire season. So now you give these players limited time to really show something. They're not able to be consistent. I think it's hard for OKC because they have players that have shown flashes but have not shown consistency. Which happens
when you're young.
It happens when you're young, but that's why it's hard for them to really pick who to really build around because they don't know who they can really count on.
The reason why this Chet Holmgren injury hurts a lot is because this would have been the perfect season for OKC to see what they actually have with this starting five. Is Chet Holmgren dominant enough to put us in a position where we're going to be aggressive in free agency now? We're going to try and get guys that are going to fill out this roster that can fit around SGA, that can fit around Giddey, that can fit around a Chet Holmgren. This would have been that season for them, for him to show them something that sparks a trust within this team that allows the front office to decide, yes, we're going to start to be aggressive in our moves. That's why this injury hurts this season. But for next season, I agree with what you're saying, Riv. He is still 20 years old. It's no need to rush. We've seen it throughout history that if a star prospect gets hurt in year one, he comes back in year two. He usually still plays well if he is like that, absolutely. I just think that for this year, yes, you would have loved to see what the team was about, but I'm, in the long run, still not worried. SGA is, I don't want to throw the words, he's a star. I think SGA is a star. I think Josh Giddey has all-star potential. I think Chet Holmgren has an all-star upside to himself, a star upside to Chet Holmgren. There's things to be positive with OKC right now. Holmgren getting hurt absolutely is a massive blow to that. But I still have faith in them. Like, if SGA was regular, like, maybe I'd be having a different conversation. But SGA is amazing at basketball.
I was reading this.
That was a great monologue.
I was reading this Sports Illustrated article earlier that I think is interesting. It was about Chet Holmgren and where he trains. It's called P3, and the guy who owns it is called Dr. Marcus Elliott. And basically, it's a gym, and they like do a bunch of studies on certain players and their movements to, basically come to a conclusion on how good they're going to be as a pro and what their longevity/injury risk is like. So they have tested 8 first-round picks. They have tested guys like Anthony Edwards, Trae Young, C.J. McCollum. And what Marcus Elliott looks for is guys that are kinetic movers based on these tests. Kinetic movers basically means that, like jab steps, sideways leaps, and the spins they do, basically moves. They don't have asymmetries or imbalances in those movements, meaning they're less likely to get hurt. And they present, fewer risk for injury. And according to P3, the results suggest that Chet Holmgren is not only going to have NBA success, but is going to have career longevity. And his 7'1" frame with how well he moves is rare. They connected 22 sensors around his body, and one measure basically came to the conclusion that a typical NBA post player averages between 24 and 25 inches for a standing vertical jump. Holmgren, without any P3 training, leaped to 27, which already ranks among the top 10% of NBA high jumpers. And on a laptop screen, there's Holmgren in a bionic form with circles placed on his digital body. Red ones indicate injury flags, and he had none. And he had a clean profile.
Something to be optimistic about.
Which predicts that he's not somebody that is you should be worried about, at least for injury.
It was a freak injury. It was contact, but it was non-contact. You know what I mean? Like, LeBron obviously drove into him, but the way he fell, he didn't even fall. He just, jumped up and down almost. Like, he went up to contest and
Frank.
Yes.
It's usually a freak injury.
But ETN did it in training camp last year. I think it was non-contact.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate.
There's just optimism if you're an OKC Thunder fan. I know where you're coming from. Like, you want to start to speed up the process with these young guys for sure. But you got to trust the foundation.
I just think, for example, if Chet was healthy this year, I think they would have gotten maybe the 8th to 11th overall pick. I think with him not healthy, they're probably going to get a top 5 pick. And with that top 5 pick, you're going to get a top prospect. And now to have so many top prospects on your team with other guys that are developmental prospects like Ousmane Dieng and Poku, Trey Mann I think Trey Mann's going to be really good. It's just, I don't know. I think there's just too much young players, and there's not enough opportunity for these guys.
Is Trey Mann a starter for OKC?
No, but I think he can develop into one. But he'll never do it in OKC.
But I feel like OKC is trying to build a roster that can last in the league for years to come.
They're just trying to draft players and see who becomes a star. That's what they're trying to do.
Nothing wrong with that.
Giddey was a great step in the right direction. I think Lugan Dortz can be a very solid role player.
But I think what gets lost in all that is that there are players that get drafted and they don't have the star potential, but they develop into that. Like Pascal Siakam was drafted into a good situation and developed into that because he had guys to learn from and he was in a good environment. Yeah. OKC, you don't know if their coach is good. I don't know if he's a good coach. Their culture with no vets, is that a good environment to learn from?
I agree.
It's not. You're basically putting together a bunch of young 22 or younger guys together. They're millionaires. What do you expect is going to happen? Like, they're going to do young stuff. They're not going to be mentored the right way. So I think it helps that definitely they're in OKC and there's not a lot to do in OKC. Mm-hmm. But definitely when you're on the road, there's stuff to do.
SGA got a girlfriend.
I think
6 years.
I think OKC's direction is just, I believe in it because there's some good players on the roster, but it's definitely not. This is a unique approach. No other team has made this approach to things.
I've never seen so many draft.
Like, for example, the Sixers tanked blatantly, but once they got those top guys, they stopped tanking.
Well, the Thunder got so many draft picks that
like
the Sixers weren't even in the same
guy.
So this is what I'll say. So I'm going to use two arguments, one to contradict myself, but one to bolster it. To contradict really quick, Orlando did it, right? They're one of the few teams that just been bad, got a bunch of draft picks. Hasn't worked out for them. Too much young development so far, and at this point in time. We're optimistic for Orlando Magic for this upcoming season, but we'll see. Absolutely. Shout out to you guys. Happy birthday, Jonathan. Facts. Happy birthday to you, bro.
Shout out to Jonathan Osborne.
Absolutely. And we're a little bit more optimistic, not overly optimistic on the Magic.
But what's that Magic point though? Because Wendell Carter is a veteran. He's kind of a veteran at this point.
At this point, but even still,
Terrence Ross is still there.
SGA's
I wouldn't call him a vet.
Would you call a vet?
So is
Wendell? I wouldn't call him a vet.
Is SGA a vet?
I would consider him at this point right now a vet. Okay, so that team for sure.
So SGA is the vet.
Jonathan Isaac,
the best player is the vet.
Jonathan Isaac is a vet.
Terrence Ross is the vet.
Gary Harris is a vet.
So my point being, so if you're going
Markelle Fultz has been in the league for a while. Okay. Is he not?
So,
is he?
Okay, here's the difference.
Only like 23.
SGA is their best player by far. You're allowing me now to give SGA the vet title. That bodes extremely well if I'm OKC. My best player is a veteran in this league, quote unquote.
He's the leader.
Absolutely the leader of this team. I have my franchise guy in SGA. I need to put pieces around him to fill it out. Now, to help me out, the Sixers, 100%. They got their guys. They stopped tanking. They started to make moves. That's why Chet Holmgren getting injured absolutely kills things. But at the minimum, they still have SGA.
I don't think
he can help them out.
But I don't think age makes you a vet. SGA, you can put a vet because he was with vets in LA. He had vets he was playing under. Wendell didn't really have much vets to really learn from. He was hurt all the time, so he didn't really have many vets. So that's why I wouldn't say I guess age. He's been in the league for a long time, so I see why Joel says vet. But I don't think the age thing makes you a vet.
I agree.
SGA has those experiences with Lou Will, with Pat Bev, with Danilo,
definitely,
with Doc Rivers.
Tatum's 24 years old,
but he's been around Marcus Smart, Al Horford. He's been.
But they are old enough to be leaders on the team. Like Jason Tatum's a leader on the Celtics.
But I think Jason.
No, I'm not saying he can't.
I'm asking.
But it's just when he's the only one on that team that is UC has actually real experience. I don't know. That's tough.
Do you think the Tatum? The Philly and Oklahoma City is just different because Philly went out and got aggressive and got the Jimmy Butlers and Tobias Harris.
That was after.
I know, but
before they got Robert Covington, they got.
Do you think
JJ
OKC?
Redick?
I don't know if it's the city. I just view Philadelphia and OKC as different. Philadelphia getting the stars, and OKC obviously they drafted the big three years ago. But do they have that same gravity, energy to bring those superstars in via trade?
I think that with all the assets that they own, I think it's definitely possible.
They don't because superstars look at OKC and it's a gigantic mystery.
I'm talking trades solely.
Yes, but
They
a player
have the
has
assets
wanna
to
go
acquire
there.
them.
You're not going to
Not
trade them.
necessarily.
You're not going to trade for someone
Unless
who
you
doesn't
have a no
resign.
trade
Like
clause,
Kawhi
you
didn't
have
want to
to
go
go.
to the Raptors.
He didn't.
He got traded there.
But then left a
Yes,
year
but,
later.
But in
He
this,
won though.
But that-
He was
I
on
know,
one
I
year.
know, but that
He was
doesn't,
on one year
that
deal.
doesn't
the
happen
Raptors were a
often.
consistent playoff team.
He
That's
didn't
the
want to go
difference.
there. He
I'm
admitted he
not,
didn't
I'm
wanna
not
go
saying that. I think we're all in the agreement here that we're not saying OKC's a playoff team right now.
No.
We're
No,
saying
I
that
know,
they have
but
to
what
get there.
what I'm saying is
But if
that
they do, which they
at the end
can
of
at
the day,
one point, we'll
in
see.
this NBA, a superstar has to want to go to your team. You can't just flat out trade for him because we can see a case where a player says, "I'm not going to play there. I'm not going to play there." And
They
what are you
have
going to
that-
do?
they
And what are
have
you
that
going
ability
to? And
to
what are you
now.
going to do
They really
about it?
do.
Absolutely
in
nothing.
certain circumstances,
Outside
you're
of Ben
100%
Simmons,
right.
though, who's done it?
What? That's
That
got,
didn't play.
Nobody's been traded into a situation they didn't want to be.
Kawhi
traded into.
got traded. He didn't want to go
but
to
he
Toronto.
didn't get traded into a bad situation.
But I mean,
That's true.
OKC would only be trading in that point when
Once
they're
they
a good
feel,
situation.
yes, once they feel like they're a
That's my
superstar away
point.
from competing.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's the initial scenario.
Okay.
If they're a superstar away, OKC
There are a
was
few of those,
prominent of being a Western Conference Finals team.
Yeah.
Yes, of course, they haven't gotten the championship, but I mean, clearly
I
they've
just
shown
do think the lack
history of putting
vets
together a
is
good roster.
pretty.
I think they need to
I
go.
see where
they
you're
need to go
coming
get
from.
good players. They need to don't reach out.
They
for
have too
superstars,
many
get good
young players
players.
competing with each other for a spot, and I think that is hurtful to the culture of the team.
I think right now though that those guys competing are bench pieces.
Yes,
Like,
I think
bench
you
pieces that
know
are
Giddey
yes.
and SGA are these
Like,
two guys are stamped. They're going to be on this team.
Dort is the starter.
He just got paid. He'll be on the team.
Dort is
True.
the starter. Poku, like yes, people on the bench
Poku's
can come
gone.
take his bench, can come take his spot. Holmgren, that really
Chet,
stings.
Chet's
It
probably in
stings.
that too. But
the
So what is it?
No,
SGA,
Chet's-
Giddey, Dort, Chet. That's
Question
the
mark.
four. Those are the four that's
And
locked in.
Poku's gonna start.
but
Well, I'm saying like
I don't
locked in on the
think- I don't
team
know
for a couple
forever.
years. Like for a couple,
for-
they're
yeah,
locked in.
forever.
I think Mike Muscala starts before Poku.
I think Kenrich.
But you
I
have
think
if,
right
if
now
there's only
projected
those three
Poku's
guys
starting.
and one of them is going to be out for the year, you have opportunities for guys to step in and prove
That's
who's going to
facts.
be the
Seven
ones
other
to step
spots.
up. That's what
Lock
I'm saying.
in.
Like
They were
obviously
playing
the
Jared-
ninth and 10th man
But
are
for the
getting 10
guards
minutes,
though, it's tough.
It is
Yes,
tough.
it
It's
is.
very because Trey
Giddey
Mann
and-
got a spot. Then you got
Facts.
SGA and
You're
Giddey.
beat.
They're gonna play.
I'll be honest, you're beat.
Yeah,
Unless you're just going to be a role player.
Unless you're a wing, you're fucked.
Yes.
You're
But
insanely fucked.
that's not. I mean, for OKC, it's not a bad thing because you found SGA and Giddey.
No,
Like
but
we're straight. We don't
it's
need
a bad
another
thing.
guy to develop
It goes
here.
back to what Joel's saying. You're gonna keep drafting young players, and they're never really gonna play.
Yeah, what if you're at pick number 2, Victor's off the board, and the next available
You have to
prospect
pick
is
Scoot. You literally have. You cannot go any other way. You get 2, you have to take Scoot. So it's like, now what? Now you got all these fucking guards. Now where's Scoot gonna play? SGA can't play at a 3.
Now-
Giddey can play a
Giddey
point
can
So
forward.
where
play.
Dort's go? You put him at the 4. He's
He could- he could be
6'5".
I said
Or
a point forward.
Dort could come off the bench.
That's facts.
So you paid him 18 mil to come off the bench.
I mean, we've
It
seen
doesn't
that.
matter because
We've
he's
seen that,
healthy,
though.
man.
That's
They have
crazy.
money.
That doesn't make sense.
18 million is not
I would
crazy
say 18 's
anymore.
not.
No, I'm saying it doesn't
anymore.
make sense for Dort to come off the bench.
You
Yeah.
get the 6-man though.
Or Scoot comes off the bench his rookie year.
What's the point of that?
You
He's
don't
a
want-
starting
Chapter
point
number
guard.
2
He's a
overall.
franchise starting point guard. Come on. Why are we bringing him on?
That-
Then
that's
we
what
got
I'm
to
saying.
see too,
Get to
'cause we
that.
No, yeah, that shit doesn't like now you got to go pick like it don't make sense. They need a wing anyways. Clown
Anthony
asses.
Black.
He's a guard. They
He
need
has
a
the size of a wing, though.
He's a 6'7". You know them 6'7" point guards coming in and shit. He's mad slow. So Anthony Black.
This week in the NBA, what's your this week in the NBA? Right?
Oh, for me, I'm just gonna talk about the World Cup qualifier. I just
Tough.
watched the highlights. The Joker and the Giannis was going at it. Giannis had 40. Joker had 28, 6 and 8. And overtime, Joker hit the bitch. Oh my god! The Joker hit the big shot over Giannis, and it was just a great game. You know, I only caught the highlights, but it was a really great game, and they won the World Cup qualifier. So shout out to Serbia. Joker's been doing his thing. He just lost to Luka the other day though, so Luka
Happens.
Have
I mean,
fun.
Luka's Luka.
Yeah, but them overseas boys been
It's
taking those
tough.
games seriously. They can't beat us though.
Maybe the Olympics actually starts to get.
if we put
interesting.
out our best 12, we would mob.
Oh,
them.
smoke,
we don't
course,
ever do
smoke.
that though, because nobody really wants
No,
to
of
play.
course.
It's not as meaningful for us as it is for them.
That's why you got to give respect to Manu,
Do
to
they-
Tony,
Do y'all
to,
thing.
to
You
Pau.
overseas, that's y'all thing.
They did
Do
their thing
y'all.
for
The World
years,
Cup is
man.
y'all. Do y'all thing. Over here, those the NBA.
So my this week in the NBA is actually Udonis Haslem returning for his 20th season.
What the fuck?
Udonis is going to
He's
get
a,
his
he's
number.
a Miami Heat legend, is he not?
He's going to get his
I
number.
think they're retiring.
That's exact.
As a he's going to be an
they're-
active player in retired jersey.
No.
Oh,
So this is
okay.
going to be his last season. He signed for his 20th season, but
How much they
at
pay
the
him?
end of this
Minimum.
minimal, you get the vet minimum. But
screaming.
he is going to have his number 40 retired after the end of this season. I
As
think
he
that's
should.
pretty lit,
Said
man.
Pau
It is.
Gasol.
No, Pau Gasol, yes, is getting his number retired for the Lakers.
Talk about Haslam.
No, we're talking about Udonis Haslam.
Wow.
But yes, another one to continue on that trend. Pau Gasol
You think
is
he
getting
deserves to get his
retired.
jersey retired?
You know what's very interesting about that? I was having this conversation with my dad when we were in Spain. I posted the picture of the Pau Gasol jersey in Barcelona. 7 seasons with the Lakers. Yes, he's responsible for 2 championships.
Okay, where's this going? 'Cause
I think
asked
that he
if-
gets.
I asked if Haslam deserves to get his jersey retired.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sorry.
So you don't think Gasol deserves
No, I think
it?
he does, but I think 7 seasons is interesting for being on a
chips
team.
in 7
No,
years
2 years.
is-
Yes, he was extremely.
He's the
impactful.
reason why they catapulted
No,
him to a
absolutely.
championship.
Shout
team.
out to Pau Gasol. He was definitely the second reason why they were able to win the championship. It's just the 7 seasons to get your
get it.
jersey retired. That's the only thing was iffy with me. But yes, he deserves it. Udonis Haslam. He's number 40. I think that's why he's getting his number retired. I think on top of the fact that, yes, he's been on the team for years. He's a 3-time champion. He has a strong history with the Miami Heat. I think really, like, who's going to wear 40? Like, you give him that honorable mention.
Yeah, bro, he said I couldn't sleep after we lost in the ECF. I'm like, bro, you didn't play.
But it's like a coach saying
But
that,
the-
though.
yeah.
It's like a
Yo,
coach
yo,
saying
yeah, the
that.
coach
He told
Like,
me-
you're being
that's
wild
it.
disrespectful.
And then he was like,
Respectful.
I'm gonna take some time to think about my decision to come back. I'm just like, bro, like I've never seen somebody make a big deal out of like deciding if he's gonna retire or
You
not.
gotta
He
think
hasn't
this has been
played
his
it.
whole life.
Like,
It's
bro,
been
Nick
20
Collison,
years on the Heat.
Nick Collison got his jersey retired with
No,
the
it's
Thunder.
fair.
If
No,
Collison-
it's not about. I think the retirement thing is fair.
It's fine.
It's about how he is.
He's
he
making it
hasn't
like
played
he's
in
a
years.
legend. Yeah, he's making it like
he's
he's a-
taking up a roster spot on the Heat.
He's a
The
coach.
Heat don't even mind it.
Iggy doesn't even
then
do that.
why-
Iggy does the same thing Haslam does. He doesn't make a big deal about it. He doesn't do that. He just
Neither does
casually.
Haslam, though. It's
The
everyone
man
else
literally
that's joking
came out and
about
said,
it.
"I'm gonna take
Like,
time
okay,
in my
like-
decision." Bro,
What's he supposed to say? He didn't have
Everyone's
he
joking
didn't have an
about it.
answer.
Bro, just say it. I don't know.
What?
That's
How's
what
that
he
different
said.
than saying I'm going to
He's
take
making
some
it
time
seem
to
like
think about
he's
it?
making it seem like he a 30-point scorer and he might be going in the Heat in shambles if he go. They're fine if you leave,
They
bro.
are fine if
But you
they
can
leave.
still be there. You don't like.
He could be a coach.
He can. That's
be an
what he is
assistant
at this
coach.
point. Shout out to Haslam. I want to get my jersey retired. 22 seasons is nuts, man.
My this week in the NBA, Danny Ainge has said there are 2 mystery teams for Donovan
He's
Mitchell in this
annoying.
trade. Probably bullshit. I think. I don't know if it's real or not. This just seems like Danny Ainge is trying to get a little bit more from the Knicks, trying to get those extra first-round picks or an extra player,
So
or whatever it might
patient.
be. But right now, Donovan Mitchell, we've been talking about him. Seems like every week on the show. But now there are 2 more teams potentially competing against the Knicks to get your boy.
Well, the Knicks are gonna get him.
What if you guys would have got AD that year?
Us.
Yeah.
They don't want a championship.
We would have given up the pick that got Tatum probably.
Ooh. Yeah. No. Never mind. That's
Thank God.
tough.
Same thing with Kawhi. Same thing with Paul George, Marcus Cousins. All of these players that we could have got throughout the years, and I'm happy we kept the picks.
Imagine PG, Brown, Tatum. That's nasty.
We wouldn't have been able to get without giving up one of those 2.
Yeah, that would have been nasty
Would
though.
have been crazy.
3-man. Whew.
Maybe he could come over after this.
Nah, it's over, bro. He with Kawhi.
This week
Leaving Kawhi is nuts.
This week in the NBA for me is not an NBA thing. It's actually a NFL thing.
Do you think?
Tyron Smith injured 3 to 4 months. That's huge for the
news.
Cowboys.
It's huge news.
It really takes a win or 2 off for me for the Cowboys in regular season.
Yeah.
I think they're going to struggle. They don't have any tackles now.
Dak
was winning
struggles
this
without.
I don't
Tyron.
disagree. Only thing I say is like Tyron's just been in and out of the lineup over these past couple seasons.
And when he's been out, they've struggled.
I
Yes.
don't disagree at all. I just think that they've understood this adversity already. Maybe that
I'm not happy
But
he's
they're
hurt.
they're
significant.
worse when he's out.
I'm not.
Like,
I'm not happy he's hurt.
Tyron
but
Smith's a borderline Hall of Famer at this
Yes.
point. Like he's one of the best left tackles we've seen of our generation.
Hey man, pray for his recovery. I'm not happy he hurt, but
Eagles.
But I mean, this is 2 of the biggest, most impactful players: Amari Cooper and Tyron Smith. Now both gone.
Mario Cooper replaceable.
If you look at the numbers
CD
with and
dog.
without Cooper, they're pretty significant.
No, I mean I get it. Cooper came to the roster, changed the outcome for changed the outlook of the Cowboys.
Make
every
Dak
season
look-
The
after.
Cowboys wide receiver room.
it's just CD.
It's very similar to the Browns, where you lose your first guy, you're fucked.
Okay, well, CeeDee Lamb is a top 15 wide receiver at the minimum. You still have Jalen Tolbert, who's a rookie who has
Rookie.
high praise coming in.
Yes, but rookie.
Michael Gallup, yes, is coming
Torn
off injury,
ACL.
but you still can put some faith into Michael Gallup.
Yeah,
James
is he
James
gonna be
Washington,
healthy
we're not
week
going to
one?
get credit.
James
No.
Washington's hurt too.
Yeah,
He's
I know
out,
that
like,
hurts.
10
That really
But they
does.
still got Zeke and
But
Pollard.
at the minimum, Dalton
and
Schultz.
Schultz. Yes.
Dalton Schultz is
Yeah.
a top 6, top 5 tight end in the league, arguably.
Yeah, 6, 7, something like
You know
that.
what I'm saying? In that group, I mean, I feel like with Dalton Schultz, we could see him teeter in that 1,000 yards,
He could.
1,000 yards
CD has to
realm.
take that number
And
one
CD
leap.
That's really what it's on.
If he
And I
doesn't,
just-
it's
I-
over.
I-
They're thin.
I
They're
try-
thin. They're thin.
He
I
has
agree.
to be like that number one, or it won't matter.
I'm
Their
not saying
tackles
it's,
are Terran Steele
It's
And
not ideal.
Yeah.
who
Oh,
else?
yeah.
And they
I really
just
don't
lost
know.
Lyle too. Like
our
they're
D-line
really
gonna run
screwed.
them
Is that who they
fuck over.
drafted?
And they lost Connor Williams.
Who'd they
Facts.
draft? It was offensive lineman.
It's Smith. It's Smith too.
Our
Yeah.
D-line gonna run them over.
His last name is Smith too.
You said
Tyler-
3 to 4 months.
Tyler
Tyler
Smith.
Smith.
So
3 to 4 months he's out?
He's out till maybe December.
So their offensive line is Tyler Smith, Connor McGovern, Tyler Bayadaz. I don't know how to say his last name.
Zach Martin.
Zach Martin and Terrence Steele. It's pretty.
Offensive line has come down from
One
a
of the
very
worst.
high arc.
You're relying for one. Terrence Steele is not going to be good. Connor McGovern is not good. Zach Martin is elite. Tyler is average, and Tyler Smith, you're relying on a rookie to.
First round pick. You're expecting him to start.
but you're relying. He was also pretty rough. He was a raw prospect that they drafted. You're relying on him to now protect Dak Prescott's blind side.
The best thing about it is that Dak is mobile. Like, yes, the offensive line, you would love for it to be sound.
I don't
They've
know.
been
He's not mobile
Look
like
at
Kyler Murray.
looking at the.
no, but he's able to get out of the pocket and still make things happen.
Yes, not if
But he's
somebody
going to do his
like,
most damage from the pocket.
I mean, of course, that's Dak Prescott, but I think that still his capability to expand plays is still going to bode well and at least protect him in this situation right here.
looking at
a little
Dak's,
bit.
looking at Dak's numbers when he doesn't have Amari Cooper, when Tyron Smith is out. I don't know. The Cowboys are a very big mystery to me, and I feel like
I'm out.
they're more teetering on being very bad.
I don't
Very
think, No,
bad.
they're not going to be a 5.
I think they're gonna be. I think they're gonna be average,
Missing the playoffs.
maybe slightly above average.
Which is for them
Still put
kinda
faith
very
in them.
bad.
they could sneak into that 7th seed.
I trust.
I wouldn't be surprised if they win 7 games.
I trust the combination of Dak, CD, Dalton Schultz with Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott in the backfield.
But no offensive line now.
But
No
there's going to be a
offensive
lot
line's
of dump offs to Tony Pollard.
Well, I like that, but a big part of running back success in Dallas over the last couple of years has been the offensive line.
Well,
The
as
team's
long
been
as
offensive line and Zeke.
no, for sure.
With Dak,
I
give
don't
him respect,
disagree.
but
I don't disagree.
Yeah,
I just
Zeke
think
100
that
mil.
it's going to start with Dak Prescott being able to get the passing involved and getting it very, very efficient quickly in the season. Maybe it starts to open up the run later in the year. But we'll see. I understand where you guys are coming from, but I'm still a little bit optimistic just because CeeDee Lamb, Dalton Schultz. I'm not thinking about that wide receiver too much, too much, because Dalton Schultz is basically a wide receiver for them.
So with this news, I know how you feel about the Cardinals. Who do you think has a better year, Cowboys or Cardinals? Cardinals' schedule is tough.
I'm going to say they probably finish around with the same record.
I remember looking at the Cardinals' schedule and being like, damn,
I give the Cowboys a slight edge.
I think I'm going Cowboys also.
I give Cowboys an edge as well. You're the Cards guy. Should be asking you.
Cards defense is just ass.
It's terrible.
I'm gonna say Cowboys by like a game or two.
That's fair.
But it won't be surprised if K1.
I won't be either.
You know,
I won't be
but I
either.
think because of the Cardinals' schedule and D-Hop's gonna be gone for a little bit. I'm gonna say Cowboys gonna have like 1 or 2 more wins. But they just lost Tyron Smith, so
That's
they're
huge.
gonna be around the same vibe though. So Eagles win in division.
For
It
sure.
don't really even matter.
So
Jalen Hurts is
this
killing it.
report just came out from The Athletic. Pat Bev trade makes it more likely Westbrook won't be on LA's roster by the start of training camp.
I saw a tweet about
When does
that.
training
but
camp
that-
start?
That who's the source there?
The
Next month,
Athletic.
probably.
No, but there was a. Well,
Got to be
I guess you
somebody's
wanna say.
name in
It
it.
is, even if anybody on The Athletic is credible as fuck,
Facts.
doesn't really
Athletic.
matter.
John Hollinger list be bad.
But this seems like a good news, no?
It's Jovan Buha of The
You want
Athletic.
to keep Westbrook, Drew?
I don't know, man. I
If
gotta
you
see
get
what
one
we
of the two
get.
deals
Oh,
that-
I personally want the Utah deal.
Yeah.
Me personally, because I think it's a little bit
With
more
the who?
safe. The Utah, the Boyan,
they're more
and
healthy.
It's safer for me.
I like Jordan.
Los
Clarkson.
Angeles is still actively pursuing Westbrook deals and other avenues to improve the roster before training camp. So it means that they're actively trying to trade this guy. That's why I think what LeBron said was nasty work. Because he knows they're trying to trade him.
See,
He
LeBron
knows.
saying that makes me really unsure. Because I feel like him saying that and Westbrook being traded, I would look at LeBron differently.
Would you?
Who cares?
I would actually.
I don't know if I believe you. Which is fine. He's your
Because
favorite
which is
player.
why I'm here saying I don't think he would do this. Because he just has a whole history of being the complete opposite of that guy. I don't know.
I know what you're saying. On to the next topic. Kevin Durant is staying with the Brooklyn Nets. They have came to a consensus that, you know what?
I was really looking forward to liking the Nets this season, man.
We're better off together. That's what Kevin Durant and Sean Marks and Steve Nash basically said that, and Joe saw that. We're better together. And I absolutely co-sign this move. I like that KD made this decision because I've been saying for the past couple of weeks and months since this trade has been requested by KD that the Nets are his best shot to win a championship. And this roster is really good. Now, I know the question is where do they rank amongst the top teams in the East? I don't want to get into semantics on this. So I'll just say these are my tier 1 teams in the East. The Bucks, the Celtics, the Nets, the Sixers, and the Miami Heat. Those are my tier 1 teams I think can make a championship run. Tier 2, Bulls and Hawks. Tier 3, Cavs and Raptors. Tier 4, Wizards, Knicks, and Hornets. And Tier 5, Magic, Pistons, and Pacers.
No Raptors in Tier 3? Tier 2?
Tier 2, thank you.
No, Tier 3 for me.
Why?
Still.
Like, what has given you the idea that they won't be as good as they was last year?
Philly was the exact same. PJ Tucker,
I think
apologize.
Chicago is better than Toronto, and I think getting DeJounte makes Atlanta better than
But
Toronto.
I'm saying you don't think they're on the same even playing field, though?
I think
Even
that
if Scotty takes another leap.
Yeah. I mean, we're assuming that. Yeah, for sure. I mean, they could be. I'm not saying they can't.
Just
they
throw
could
them
be.
in Tier 2 and I'm fine.
I'm not gonna throw them in Tier 2, but they could
But
be.
why?
I'll acknowledge that
But
they
why?
could make
Yeah, like
that jump.
you're not saying why. You're just
No, just why?
I think the Bulls and Hawks are better.
Okay, fine. But why
I
can't
think
you just
I
throw
think
them
the
in there with
I
Tier
think
2,
the Bulls and Hawks are better.
But you think the Nets are better than the Heat, but they're in the same tier. So we're asking you, why
That's
can't
exactly
the
my
Raptors
point. That's
be
my
in the
question.
same tier
That's my
as tier 2?
question.
I think the Hawks and the Bulls, based on matchup, have a chance to actually get out the first round. I don't
okay.
think
You
the
don't
Raptors
think-
and the
okay,
Cavs
okay.
can get out the first round.
I see what you're saying.
I think they're a first round exit team if they make the playoffs.
That's all I wanted to know. Okay. You know what? I'm not mad at that idea. I'm honestly not. Because I think the Raptors are a first round exit.
All right, so are the Hawks, and so are
The Hawks can beat my.
No, they can't.
not beating Miami.
There's no one the
I may
Hawks
have
can
trolled.
beat right
I
now.
may have
Yes,
trolled.
I
I
know.
may have. Now that I'm thinking
No,
about it, I
they're
may
not
have
beating
trolled.
If the Hawks face the Raptors in a series, who do you think wins?
I'm
The
favoring the
Hawks.
Raptors.
The Hawks win.
I'm favoring the Raptors.
I think I would go with the Hawks too.
That's a matchup problem for the Hawks, but I think I would like.
That's
I like
exactly
Trae Young
my
versus
point.
them.
That's
I think
fair.
I would go with the Hawks too.
Four
Be a good
wings
series.
against Trae Young is tough.
But now you have DeJounte Murray.
That switchable defense. But
To
I
me,
would.
that's-
I like the Hawks though. But I think it would be really close. I think that's like a 6-7
I think
game
really,
series.
the Athletic I think put out a players for each team that have the most to prove, and for the Atlanta Hawks is DeAndre Hunter. I
Absolutely.
agree with that.
It's
his
not John
health-
Collins either.
John Collins, I think we know who he is. I think DeAndre Hunter, he needs to be healthy, and he can make a huge impact on that team.
It's not DeJounte.
Nah, he's the all-star.
I know, but they're expecting the Hawks acquired him.
I think
so they
Hunter,
could take a beat
DeAndre-
now.
That's a
Hunter
fair
possibly
point.
might not get a deal right now. So he has a lot
DeAndre
to
is their
prove.
wing stopper. But onto the Nets.
Wait. Was there the most to prove on the Raptors or just the Hawks?
It was, I don't know which one it was for the Raptors.
Oh.
I forgot.
So, but what was the point there?
Yeah, why'd you bring that up?
I just wanted to talk about DeAndre Hunter being an X factor.
Oh.
Listen, X Factor on every team.
Yeah, I think he's a legit guy that I think when he's healthy, he's really fucking good. He's
Projected.
one of the best defenders in the league. At the wing
I'd take
position.
OG pretty easily.
OG's not better than DeAndre Hunter fully
As a
healthy.
player?
Nope, I don't think so. I think DeAndre Hunter's a better defender than him.
40. Jimmy Butler. A lot. 40, 30. Ooh. Manhandle. He did a lot to DeAndre Hunter, like as a man. Like he was physically imposing, like as a man. It was really bad. I don't think he'd do that to OG. But then again, I only remember a few plays from that series.
I was looking at this chart, and then I'm gonna get into my Nets monologue. DeAndre Hunter last year averaged 13, shooting 44% from the field and 38% from three. He's not a bad player.
He's a good player.
No, he's not. No, we're not saying that.
But this is what I'm saying is that OG, there's actually this chart about OG. It was about top isolation scores in the league. It went on total possessions and then like points per possession. OG is one of the worst ISO players in the league.
Sounds like he needs to stop ISOing
in
the
the
ball.
league. Like one of the worst. He's not.
That's
he's,
not his role
It's not
on
his
the
game.
team,
That's-
though.
yeah.
He can't create his own shot.
That's
DeAndre
not his
Hunter
role.
can create his own shot.
Did you remember where he was on the
He
chart?
13 points.
I don't.
What the fuck, Joel?
Let's talk about the Nets.
Now, last episode, Joel and I got into a heated discussion about the Nets.
I'm
and the
upset I wasn't
Celtics.
here for it.
It was actually
And-
really funny.
To me, I don't think Joel could have been more wrong. I think he was very wrong. And I think that everything just came together so perfectly. The fact that after that debate, very shortly the day after, news came out that he's staying, it was a wonderful day for me. Because
But what was the difference of what you were saying to the news actually happening? Were you saying
'Cause
something?
we had the argument under the assumption KD and Kyrie stay.
because now we know that
Now we can
we're gonna
actually
see it play out.
Yes, agreed.
and I know how I see it playing out is going to be much better than how Joe thinks it's going to play out. If everything goes right, they can make a finals run. If things go wrong, Kyrie on an expiring deal, maybe he doesn't buy in. Ben Simmons is bad, maybe. Joe Harris isn't the shooter he once was. KD's getting injured. TJ Warren can't play anymore after 2 seasons of being out.
Can't be relying
And
on
Royce
TJ Warren on
O'Neal,
championship team.
you know, maybe if all those things go wrong, the Nets will probably be like a play-in team. And that's funny. Even like with all those things going wrong, they're still a play-in team.
What are the Celtics
Where
if
is this
everything
going?
goes
No,
wrong?
bro. You don't even have to say anything.
Let me
What
finish.
was the point of that?
No, let him finish.
No, I'm
please.
just saying.
It's gonna get going.
I wanted to get two. I wanted to get two options out there.
They're not a playing team if that happens.
Wait, who?
You just
do you
listed a
mean?
laundry list of everything that can go wrong. You said if all that goes wrong, they're a playing team. No. If all that goes wrong, they're not a playing
What do you
team.
mean? What do you mean?
You just
last
said
year.
if
Last year, everything could have went wrong for them, and they were still a playing team.
Who, boss? Brooklyn?
Brooklyn. KD was hurt. Kyrie
he came back for a decent amount of
Kyrie
games.
barely played last
I'm
year.
not talking Kyrie.
James
And
Harden
Kyrie came
wasn't
back at
bought
the end
in.
of the season and was
That's
a
literally
pretty
his
big
fault.
factor.
James Harden wasn't bought in, and their depth was there was nothing there, and they were a playing team. Everything that could have went wrong last year for them went wrong.
Kyrie and
they were
KD
a
played
playing
down the
team.
stretch for
They
them.
got swept.
And KD played early in the year. And
They
put
played
the
down.
with
They
Kyrie.
played down the stretch.
No Ben,
and
but
they played down the stretch only in away games.
That's
only
not true.
That is true because
No,
Kyrie
the
can
band
only
got
play
li-
away
no,
games.
the band got lifted.
In the
He was
playoffs.
playing both.
No, in the
Okay.
playoffs, yeah,
No,
but
it wasn't
towards
just the playoffs.
So,
The
but okay,
last- it was like a couple
all
weeks.
year long,
Wasn't a lot.
all year long, they had no time to figure out how to play with their new roster. Kyrie Irving had to learn on the fly how to play with his
his
teammates.
fault.
This is another new roster, by the way.
I'm not saying it's not his fault. Yeah,
This is another new roster.
It's a new roster.
Okay.
Steve
but
Nash is still the
I
coach.
think Kyrie's playing the year. He's playing the entire. He's not going to play some away games, some
No,
home games
for
No, like
sure.
he's healthy. He can play the full season. Is he going to stay healthy? We
Well,
don't
I'll
know.
say
But
no
I'm saying
disrespect, but he
it's
doesn't stay healthy all
different than
season.
last season, though. Now, do I love the moves they made? Yes. T.J. Warren, his last 3 healthy seasons, he's averaged.
You were this
What
is
are you talking about?
Talking about
Can I
29.
finish?
crazy.
Can I
No,
finish?
you're killing
you have a
me.
Nets agenda now. This is nuts.
Can I finish?
Without
killing
Harden.
me.
Holy
Without
moly.
You can
Harden.
finish, bro.
Agenda
Holy
without Harden.
moly. T.J. Warren's last 3 healthy
last
seasons,
episode.
his last 3 healthy seasons, he's averaged 19 points, 4 rebounds. He shot 50% from the field and 38%
What year
from
was his
three.
last year you played?
In the bubble year. His last full season.
2020.
19.
He hasn't
20.
played in almost 2 seasons with a foot injury. But the good news about that is that last year when he didn't play, it was because the Pacers were actively tanking. T.J. Warren could have played last year. He was participating in all of their on-court activities, but they just didn't play him because probably they wanted to tank him. They wanted him to get a contract. I don't know what it could have been, but he was healthy last year down the stretch. They just didn't play him. Now, T.J. Warren, he's a very good scorer, and his last full healthy season, he was a good defender. He got the hardest defensive assignment every single night. He averaged 3.3 deflections per game, per 75 possessions, which is top 15% amongst forwards. And the bad defensive reputation that he had is mostly from Phoenix because he didn't buy in. But when he's bought in, he's a good perimeter wing defender. You have Royce O'Neal, who's a good defender, who shoots 38% from 3. Nick Claxton, I know, Riv, you love to rag on him and make fun of him, but this past season, he was actually 6th in the NBA in field goal percentage at 67%, and he's one of the better cutters in the league. He averages 5.7 points per game on cuts, which was in the 97th percentile
How many
in
points
the
did he
entire
average?
NBA.
That sounds like all of his points per
No,
game.
the thing is, yes, Claxton's a decent offensive player. You don't need him to be a solid offensive player. You need him to be a great rim protector, a great defender.
But
he's not.
he's an excellent defender.
Excellent.
Nick
with
Claxton
that
is
frame.
Nick Claxton is not a bad defender. He can switch on to guards. He can play in the perimeter.
With that frame,
he has good enough length to deter shots. He's not some horrible. He's not Enes Kanter. They just need him to be viable, and that's exactly what he is. And they've even talked about experimenting with the lineup
Claxton's
of
mid.
Ben Simmons at the 5. I mean, a lineup
with that.
of Kyrie Irving, Royce O'Neal, Kevin Durant, T.J. Warren, Ben Simmons. That sounds like an awesome lineup. Now, I know the Celtics swept the Nets, but that's not going to happen
know?
again.
I
know
sometimes
it.
I think you forget.
I know they
No,
did.
he's talking like the Nets swept the Celtics.
I know it happened, but the bottom line is that everything that could have went wrong for the Nets. The Celtics swept the Nets. Yes, Kevin Durant had his worst playoff series of his career. Do I expect Kevin Durant to play that bad again? You know, based on KD's track record of playing in the playoffs, I would much more expect him to be Hall of Fame God level than I would that bad. Do I expect
2016?
Do I expect Kyrie Irving to be bad again in the playoffs? Because he only showed up for one game. No, I don't. I expect him to be good in the playoffs. Ben Simmons, as much as people want to rag on him, he's somebody who's 15, 5, and 5 every single night. In the past 5 seasons, he's the 4th best defender in terms of defensive field goal percentage as the closest defender near an offensive player. Ben Simmons is an elite defensive player. He's the type of player that can turn around the Nets' entire defense because he's that damn good. Now, the Nets, with this move, yeah, they're a championship contender. Where do I rank them amongst the top teams in the East? I told you, they're a tier 1 team. They can make the finals. Don't sleep on this team. Does a part of me feel a bit foolish for making this pick?
You should.
I do. The reasons why is because the Nets, kind of like the Clippers, are a team that continuously lets people down. That's what they are. That's what they have been. So do I have a hunch that maybe the Nets, once again, will let everyone that believes in them down, including me? I do. But I'm willing to take that risk with 2 players as good as KD and Kyrie Irving, knowing that this year could very well be the year that they rise up to the top.
I want to say one thing.
I'm sorry, he just attacked the Clippers. I didn't like that.
I mean, listen, man, we've had that conversation already.
They never got swept.
It's all right. No, my issue here, and it really hits home with me because when I first came onto the show, the big thing about me and who I was advocating for was Ben Simmons, but I had to sit in this spot exactly and hear you two just constantly bash Ben Simmons.
I will never stop, by the way.
No, fine. That's fine.
You said Ben was Giannis.
That's not what I said. Anyways, my whole point is you're all in on Ben now, and fine. I'm fine with that. But my whole point...
I never said I was all in on Ben.
My point that
sounds
you
like
just said
if
he
they're
can change
a
the defense.
championship,
No, bro,
they're a championship level team.
Solid 2 minutes.
You have to be in on Ben.
That Ben is so good.
If
Say
they're a
what you
championship
want.
level team, he has to be in on Ben.
Well, you
That's
said that's different. You said
Hold on.
in. Am I all in? I'm not all in. I'm in, though.
Joel, you had 5 minutes at least to speak. I would like to get this point across. If you're in on the Nets, you essentially have to be all in on Ben
Absolutely
Simmons.
have to.
Because without Ben Simmons, they're not this championship team that you think there are.
It's a similar roster
Ben
from
Simmons
last year.
needs to be the best defensive player in the league for them to be the championship team that you want them to be. He has to be that.
He can.
I don't disagree.
He's a DPOY
but my
candidate.
point being is
So is
the,
Rob Will.
the
We didn't have-
hypocrisy that
Ben Simmons is a better defender than Rob Will.
I'm just saying we didn't have him in
They're
that
two different
series.
type of
the
defenders.
hypocrisy that I just hear and coming out of your mouth. That's the only thing. Like I can.
What
I
hypocrisy?
Feel,
And
you know
I
what's-
feel where you're
you know what's
coming
also
from.
What
funny?
hypocrisy?
Just
That a year and a half ago when fresh off of Ben Simmons choking a playoff series,
So you've
that I was
seen-
critical of him?
and that's the last you've seen of Ben. That's the last you've seen of Ben. So
Literally.
for your tune to change your tune so suddenly now, that's the only thing that's sitting wrong.
because there's
with
a
me
difference.
Right now.
In Philly, yes. Did he fold? Yes. Was I hypercritical? Yes. With the Nets, you have a lineup where he's going to have spacing. In Philly, you're on the court with Embiid and Thibault. Yes, it takes away from his game. And I mean,
Embiid can space. Thibault, yes.
but Joel Embiid can space, but he's not going to be playing
He's
in
not
the
gonna sit in
offense
a
as a
corner.
floor spacer.
No, absolutely
He's going
not.
to demand his opportunities
As he should.
on the block, which means
Against
virtually
centers.
the lane is pretty much clogged if you have Simmons, Embiid, and Thibault on the court.
So-
which is now why in Brooklyn he's gonna have an open floor.
So, I'm just gonna play the
And
questionnaire.
I'm
guy
in on
today.
Ben Simmons, but don't act like I'm in on him being some all NBA
No,
level
I'm
player.
saying you
Well,
need him
NBA
to be.
defender, yeah.
I
I'm
don't
saying
need him
you
to
need
be.
him to
I
be
just
if
need
you
him.
want-
I just need him to play defense
all-NBA
and
defender.
play make
You need him to be
and
all-NBA
rebound.
defender.
So you need him to be.
Him. That's literally
I
what
don't
he
need
is.
Ben to be a 20-point per game scorer. I need
No one's asking
if
Ben
if
to be
Ben
20
averages
points.
14, that's fine.
But that's what. But wait. This is where it confused me because you said you don't need him to be all NBA. You need him to defend, rebound, and play make. That's why he makes all NBA because that's
exactly
what. So
what-
you need him to be all NBA because that's essentially
He's only
how
made
he.
all
This is
NBA
why I'm
once.
sitting
And
here
what
with
he
my-
did
I'm
was he
scratching my head.
defended, he playmaked, and he rebounded.
all NBA is a top 15 player. I don't need Ben Simmons to be a top 15
well, you
player.
need him to be all NBA defender.
Which he will be. That's a given though. With Ben, that's a
But
given.
so you need him to be some type of all NBA. And because I'm
You need him to be. He's the playmaker on the team. He has to be. He
just-
has to be.
I don't. Ben, do you like Ben at the 5? In the regular season, I think I like.
I
it.
like
think
Ben
it's, I
in
think it's fine.
spurts at the
five.
5.
But do you think in a favorable matchup they run into the Bucks or the Sixers? You think that it works? Ben at the 5?
Or
I
the
think it
Celtics.
depending on
Ben
the
is-
lineup out there. Yeah,
Ben is 6'10", correct?
Yes.
He's 6'10".
It's not crazy. He's got decent build to him. It's not insane. I think, yes, great centers will have their way. Jokic, Embiid.
Well, he won't have to play him.
I'm just stating, I'm just naming
specifically
really good
talking about
guys.
the East right now. We're just
So
if he plays the Bucks,
so it's Giannis, Embiid. They'll probably will do well.
In Boston, you don't have to worry about that.
Not at all.
But my only problem with Ben at the 5 in spurts, we're just talking in spurts right now, is on the other end, he's going to be placed on the box because that's probably where going to be his role as a scorer. That's going to make it easier for defenses to hone because Kyrie is not he is a one-on-one player. Kevin Durant,
that's up for debate. That's up for debate. Kyrie can pass.
I'm saying he's a one-on-one. He's an isolation.
I'm sorry,
scorer.
I thought you said he's not a playmaker.
No, he's an isolation scorer. Kevin Durant is an isolation scorer. My only problem is what's going to happen is if you have Rob Will out there, for example, you have a Bam Adebayo, for example, and Ben is playing the 5, that's going to be easier for those two centers to sit and help because Ben, from what we've seen, this is just of what we've last seen, is going to be very hesitant to take that shot. It isn't really reliable on the offensive end because Kevin Durant and Kyrie are going to have the ball. That's my only problem with him as the 5.
I say all this
and if he plays the 4, him and Claxton out there, that's still clogging the
You
paint.
Cannot have him and Claxton on the court at the same time.
I mean, they had Bruce Brown and Claxton on the court versus Celtics virtually
But
most of the entire series.
But
and
Bruce
the series was
could
close.
space a little bit at least.
Well, that was against Boston, who Rob Will, you're not giving the ball to make any real moves down low. He's not for that. He kind of is like Ben on the offensive end, except he gets offensive rebounds. Al Horford,
he's nothing like him.
Well, I mean, in the sense of where he just sits there, he waits, he gets on the glass. Al Horford's a floor spacer, so he's out on the perimeter
But that's
regardless.
not what Ben Simmons is, though. He initiates offense.
Yes.
But how is he going to – is he going to initiate in Brooklyn?
Yes.
Is
Why
what I'm
not?
saying.
No, yes.
I'm asking,
in
I'm
a
just asking.
in a 5-out system, when he's at the 5,
Yeah.
I think Ben is best placed as the primary playmaker because now you are forced to spread the floor out, and he's
Who is
the
he taking
initiator.
advantage of? If you put a 5 on him and you run a 5 out, who is going to actually help the 5 guard him?
What matchups?
They're playing if he's running the center, a center's going to guard him.
I think he can get the better of him.
I mean, he's athletic enough to be.
I don't think if Embiid
on the
just
perimeter.
Embiid's not going to go out there to guard him on the
Well,
perimeter.
he's going to be guarding him. Ben's going to be here, and Embiid's probably going to be at the free throw line.
Yeah.
I mean, Ben, his first step is quick enough to get past him. I do.
If that's the game plan you're relying on to win a championship,
you're fucked.
But
that's not
it's
the game plan.
different.
You got
It's
KD and
different
Kyrie.
game
It's not
plans.
the
I
game
mean,
plan.
that's just one thing you can do. But
How do you run Draymond?
he's at the top of the queue. He's handling the ball, but he has the greatest shooters alive. What create insane gravity and they move.
I don't disagree.
Kevin Durant and Kyrie don't move.
But they're also 40% plus 3-point shooters.
And they also
I agree, but
realize
they don't move.
No, but that's the thing. They're amazing shooters. They're amazing.
And we're comparing the
scorers.
You have to
offensive system
respect
of
their
Golden
offense.
State.
I'm not-
No,
I'm not
that's why
saying-
you don't help off them. You're not gonna help off Kevin Durant and Kyrie. You're gonna stick to them. They're like gravity. The thing is, they don't move.
So what happens when Ben Simmons sets a screen and now you're forced to switch?
that's
Like he's running the pick and
that's
roll.
what I'm saying.
That's him without the ball.
Yeah, but
he's gonna be doing a little
he's
both
valuable
also.
as a roller.
Yes.
But we were just talking specifically if he was running the point. Him as a roller is a different story.
He would try his best to imitate Draymond Green.
Well, there's so many different ways you can play Ben.
Yeah, but here's my
True.
problem. Who's going to do it? You trust Nash to do this? Is what I'm asking. Do you trust Nash to create this scheme,
They have
this
to do something
offensive
different.
system to where it's going to put Ben
Well,
in
I
place to
think
succeed?
this
Or do you
year-
trust Kevin Durant to just make it up?
I want
I
to hear
think
what Jeff
this
said.
year is Nash's
It's make or break.
final year.
It's make or break.
He has the talent. He has to make the most out of it. Last year, yes, he had excuses, injuries, roster dilemma, all this other bullshit. Now this trade, Harden wanting to demand a trade. This
Facts.
year,
Nothing.
you have a clean slate.
I agree.
Let's see how good Steve Nash is.
I agree.
Okay. I mean, to answer the question, I do have them as the top 5 team in the East. I do have them
You gotta.
as a tier 1 team. I
Yes.
probably have them at 4th or the 5th spot. I like the Bucks over them. I like Boston over them. I like Philly over them too because that's a bad matchup for Brooklyn.
Miami's. You're out.
I don't like.
They don't have a lot of offense. I like the matchups
I agree
they have. I wish
wholeheartedly.
they still had PJ because I like those
listen,
matchups.
I'm with you.
But outside of Bam guarding Ben and Jimmy guarding Kevin Durant, I don't see a world where they can. You know what I'm saying? They just have too many holes right now. They need another guy.
And also like their bench, Joe Harris.
And if
Like essentially, the Nets are getting 4 players this year that they didn't have last year consistently or at all. Royce O'Neal, T.J. Warren, Ben Simmons, and Joe Harris.
good moves, I like the moves they made.
If any team in the offseason acquired those 4 players, they won the offseason.
See,
But
this-
you're talking
this
about
the-
them championship contenders. That's
No, you're good.
if they went to other teams. We're talking about this team as winning a championship.
If they have 2 of the top 15 players in the league, yes.
But we saw
That's
a
what
team.
that's
We saw
what
a team.
Nets have.
It's funny because Joel, you started this monologue saying everything that went wrong for the Nets possibly last year went wrong. And you could probably make the same argument for the Celtics. The first half of the year, people were saying fire and Ime. Tatum got COVID. Jaylen Brown got hurt. Rob got hurt.
Boston.
First half of the year, you could say everything that went wrong Boston could have. It was looked at as a complete embarrassment. Tatum even admitted that. I don't know if I'm even the guy to lead this team to a championship. Second half of the year, we know things turned around. Now we're going into year 2 of Ime. Hopefully Rob can stay healthy, pick up Malcolm Brogdon. You're talking about all these players. I'd rather have Malcolm Brogdon over damn near all of these guys you mentioned. Obviously, Ben Simmons, if he could reach his potential, is a different caliber of player. But the T.J. Warrens and Royce O'Neals, I get it. But it's just funny how you make
T.J. Warren was better than Brogdon.
Brogdon hasn't played basketball in 2 years. He hasn't played basketball. You're taking right now, going into next year, T.J. Warren and Malcolm Brogdon. Come on.
Malcolm Brogdon.
It's
two guys who are injury prone.
But T.J. Warren led them in scoring.
Malcolm Brogdon has been on the court before the bubble. After the bubble, excuse me.
I don't...
But it's funny because you make all these excuses for Brooklyn, and you do have this Brooklyn agenda now. I let you guys talk because we got into a very heated debate last week, and everyone knows where I stand on this. In terms of the question that was asked at hand, where I see Brooklyn, if everything goes right, 4 seed. I do think they're at the top of tier 2. I think tier 1 is Boston, Milwaukee, and the Sixers picking up PJ Tucker now. But I do think Brooklyn is on the top of tier 2, right up there with the Heat as well.
Tier 2 means what?
What do you mean?
Everything has to go right.
You said tier 2 is what?
Everything has to go right. I think there'd be a second round exit, tier 2.
Okay.
So
those tier 1 teams, I see all of them in the chip.
So you're paying tier 2 teams that everything has to go right, like perfect.
No, I'm saying more so second round exit.
Oh shit. Okay.
So you're not even putting them in contenders.
Have they got past the second round?
Hey, listen. No. But I think Brooklyn, like, if you just look at them, I would put them at the bottom of tier 1. I would put them but I don't think they can I think they can possibly beat a top 3 team. But something has to.
If everything goes right, they could go to the championship. They can win a championship.
I'm not all in on Ben Simmons like everybody else.
When you look too deeply into results and don't add context into it, it gets very muddy.
What do you mean look too deeply into it?
Because their first playoff run together, they took Milwaukee to 7 without Harden and Kyrie. They, to me at least, well, he wasn't really.
Well, doesn't matter.
Why are we talking about that series when Kevin Durant and Kyrie played 4 games and didn't win?
Can I get to that? I'm going on a timeline here.
It's timeline.
God damn it.
Go ahead. Do your timeline.
I think, to me, quite easily, Brooklyn, if they're healthy, they're winning that series and they're winning the championship versus the Bucks. Like, I think they're winning the championship if they're healthy, and I don't think that's a hot take to say.
He plays the
why does that
woulda,
matter?
shoulda, coulda type of idea.
KD,
He's like, oh, if this happened, this can happen,
KD,
this happened, this happened. We look at results and what happened on the court.
0-for-6 in overtime.
Okay, but KD hit a turn.
Matter?
KD.
I'm just saying, like, there's like, if they would have won the series, they would have won the championship.
We do understand.
KD hit a turnaround shot with his foot barely on the line that would have sealed the fucking game
and then
for
he got
them.
locked up for 4 games straight. So what are we doing
He
here?
was gassed. He did everything. He dropped 50 that.
And then he wasn't gassed and then got swept. So what are we doing? Like, what are we gonna keep playing this if they could have?
That was a bad series. Did I ever expect KD to play that poorly? Absolutely not.
No, you picked the Nets to beat us. Actually.
But do I expect him to do it again? No, I think he's gonna be back.
I'm not banking on KD to suck again, but I just look at the other teams in the East, and Milwaukee's a more complete team, have proven it. The Celtics are a more complete team, have proven it. The Sixers are probably the one you can't say because with Embiid, they haven't got past second round.
So that means every year we're just supposed to pick a team that's proven it over a team that hasn't.
No, I'm not saying that. But going into the
really.
season, I'm taking these other teams
usually
over
how
them.
It goes.
The proven team usually at the top is at the top of the food chain.
But these teams, the Bucks, I agree with you. They are proven. They won a championship. The Celtics are not proven.
We've been to 3 ECFs.
They haven't won a
chip.
championship. What have they proved? They proved that they can lose.
We've been with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. We've been to 2 ECFs
and y'all
a
lost.
chip.
Yo, this guy is nuts.
Y'all haven't won. Y'all have lost.
What's KD done without Steph?
Man, like,
what's Kyrie done without Bron?
And no, what are we talking about here? Like,
got
KD's
swept.
Done
Matter of
something
fact,
with the
they got
Nets.
fucking swept by the team who keeps losing. They got swept, and the only reason you think they could do some shit is because they got 2 good role players and fucking Ben Simmons, the biggest question mark in the entire NBA. That's why you think
they got
they're
3
a
good role
championship level
players.
team.
They got 3 good role players. Joe Harris. Why are you missing out on him? He's a good player.
That's the difference between this year and last year. Ben Simmons, the biggest question mark in the league, and a couple good role players. That's the difference. A couple shooters.
Who would you rather have at this point in time? Okay. I'm going to mention another addition by the Celtics. Joe Harris and Gallinari.
Easily.
Gallinari's our 9th man, maybe our 10th man.
Royce O'Neal or Gallinari.
Royce easily.
You do understand you're saying players who these are our
like
ninth
gross
man.
stuff.
TJ Warren or Gallinari?
TJ.
Yeah.
You know Gallinari's our ninth man.
You know that TJ Warren's like their ninth man
Gallinari-
too?
Gallinari's our ninth
trolling
man
right now.
He's our ninth man.
Bro, Seth
cares?
Curry's like the Nets' ninth man, bro.
No, he's not.
Bro, you know-
Seth Curry is not his
Bro,
ninth
what
What are you
man.
doing?
The
What
Nets-
whoa, whoa,
hold
whoa,
up.
whoa, 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 whoa.
I
Don't
apologize.
disrespect
I
Seth like
apologize.
that. Yeah,
I
don't
love
disrespect-
Seth.
don't
I love
disrespect
Seth.
Seth like
But
that.
listen, the Nets starters: Kyrie, O'Neal, KD, Simmons, Claxton. Seth, TJ, Patty Mills, Harris. Harris is their fucking ninth man too. He's fucking
No,
better than
he's
Gallinari.
not. He's not. Like, what are we talking about?
Patty Mills is the ninth.
Patty Mills is still better than Gallinari. I don't care.
If you have a better ninth man, then that's fucking whoop-de-doo. I don't give a shit. It's the playoffs. It's the ninth man. They're
Who's
going to play
better,
3
Payne
minutes.
Pritchard or Patty Mills?
Payne Pritchard clears him.
Seth Curry or Patty Mills?
Seth,
Seth Curry or Derek
Payne
White?
Pritchard's our 10th or 11th man. He's not going to get playing time.
Grant Williams or TJ Warren?
Grant Williams.
Healthy? It's not even.
TJ
fucking
Warren
close,
doesn't
bro.
play basketball.
No comment until I see him play ball again.
TJ Warren doesn't
Until
play
he plays
basketball.
basketball, it's a
Yeah,
fact.
no
You got
comment
2
until I see
players
him
on the
play
team who don't play basketball.
Who's better,
It's
Katie
impressive.
or Tatum?
Tatum.
Who's better, Kyrie or JB?
Wait. What?
You
The
know
fuck?
I'm taking
No.
Tatum. You know I'm taking Tatum.
No. You wasn't about to slide with that one.
I thought I was going to get away with that. I'm not gonna lie.
The fuck did you just say?
I said I'll take Tatum.
No, don't do that. Don't.
I'll say I'll
Okay, I
take
get
Tatum.
it. Boston's your team.
It
but
is.
It's KD is still better than Tatum right now. Come on, stop.
Yeah, that's what consensus thinks.
No, that's a fact. Like, come on. It's
Wait, so hold up.
it's
So
still
that means
Kevin Durant.
the Nets' best
What's wrong
player is
with-
better
he
than the
tried to
Celtics
sneak that in
player.
there.
The Nets' second best player is better than the Celtics second best player.
We don't know about that. We don't know about that.
What about
We don't know
who?
about
Hold on.
Who's the
Hold on.
Celtics' third
Hold
best
on.
player? Who's the third best
Hold
player?
on, real quick.
Brogdon.
Wasn't
Right?
Or
Smart.
last
Rob.
year?
Oh, yeah.
Last
Him or
year?
Ben
Hold up,
Simmons?
real
What do you
quick, real
think?
quick. No, hold on.
Marcus Smart or Ben Simmons?
Ben clears
This
every
argument's
other third
dumb
place.
as hell. Last year, who was better? Tatum or Kevin Durant?
Easily Kevin
Durant
Durant.
was-
Still
Kevin
Kevin
Durant
Durant.
was
Okay,
better.
who was better last year? JB or Kyrie?
Easily Kyrie. Still
Kyrie.
Kyrie.
Okay,
better.
And
what
they
was the
got
series?
swept.
4-0.
They got
Swept. Get the
swept.
fuck out of here. What are we talking about? I don't give a fuck who's better. We're a better team.
Damn. He got you
And
there.
the coach better too. That's something you're not
The
taking
coach
into account.
I don't
You know,
think
the
you can
defensive
win
system
without a great
clears,
coach.
bro.
I really
Like,
don't.
You know,
Yeah.
Boston is one of those teams that, I actually, I didn't have much animosity towards.
Gosh,
I use them in 2K. They're a very fun team. I dropped 30 with Tatum, but you are making me not like them. And because of what you're saying, I actually want them to fail now. I want them to be one and done. I don't want them. Like, you're making me do this, Dehls. You're
it.
making me pick a side.
Do it.
And I'm picking the goddamn Nets.
Do it. Nets over
I'm
Boston.
picking the
Stamp it.
goddamn Nets.
August, what's today? The 25th? August 25th. Nets over Boston. Let's see how that ages. And
Yeah.
Katie's got it over Tatum. I don't want to fucking hear it in the comments. Katie's got it.
Yeah, you tried to sneak
Because
that in.
I already know the 10 comments. Once he said Tatum clears KD, I stopped listening. I'm like, all right, whatever.
Top duos in the East. I mean, we did this already, so we don't have to spend too much time. But now that we know KD and Kyrie are staying, my list is I'll go from 10 to 1. Wizards, Cavs, Hawks, Raptors, Bulls.
Can you name the duos?
Yeah, like,
what are
come
we
All
doing?
right. Wizards, Beal and Porzingis.
Okay.
Cavs, Garland and Mobley. Hawks, Trey and DeJounte. Raptors, Fred and Pascal. 6, Bulls, Levine, DeRozan. 5, Heat, Jimmy and Bam. 4, the Celtics, Tatum and JB.
Oh my God.
3, the Sixers, Embiid and Harden. 2, the Bucks,
Oh
Giannis,
my
Middleton.
God.
And 1, Nets, Katie, Kyrie.
Oh my God.
Wait, what the fuck?
This is talent. I guess it's talent.
Wait. No, wait. What the fuck? Wait. Where was the Jays?
4.
It was 4.
Or 4.
Where was the Bucks?
2.
Don't you dare tell me you put the dudes who didn't win a game at number
He
1.
put them one, bro.
They- what's-
You know
who's
they
that 3?
both played,
James
and they
Harden and
played
what's the name?
every game.
What the hell is
They
wrong?
played every
Why
game,
do you
and
do
they
this
got
talent
swept.
thing?
They got swept.
Riff.
No, bro, they
You
got
just said
swept.
KD was better than Tatum and Kyrie's better than JB.
Yeah, but the Jays fit better next to each other. It's obvious. It's a fact.
look, these two players are
They
better.
got
They're
swept.
Number 1.
All right, I'm going to go because that list was fucking nuts. I didn't have a 10 because I'm not naming the Washington Wizards. So at 9, I got Garland and Mobley.
Yep.
At 8, I got Pascal and Fred VanVleet. At 7, I got Trey and DeJounte. At 6, I got Zach and DeMar. At 5, I got Jimmy and Bam. At 4, I got Kevin Durant and Kyrie.
Wow.
At 3, I got Harden and Embiid. At 2, I got the Jays. And then at 1, I got Giannis and Middleton.
Wow. KD and Kyrie underneath Harden and Embiid.
Yes.
That's kind of crazy.
That's not that easy. You're saying it very sternly.
Well, because I thought about it for a long time, and then I came to a conclusion. So I'm not.
Hey, you know
gonna-
that I respect right
yeah,
there.
I'm not about to think about
All right,
this shit
so
again.
my number 10, Beal and Porzingis. Number 9, Garland and Mobley. Number 8, Fred and Siakam. Number 7, Trey and DeJounte. Number 6, DeMar and Levine. Number 5, Bam and Jimmy. Number 4, Harden and Embiid. Number 3, KD and Kyrie. Number 2, Middleton and Giannis. And number 1, I'm going with
My list is
Jason
identical
Tatum
to
and
his.
Jalen
Is it really?
Brown.
Identical.
Same exact one?
Yes.
Okay. I don't mind.
Like ours was exactly the same. And then you said KD before.
The top 4 is
Harden.
the interesting. It's the Sixers, Nets, Bucks, and Celtics. That's where things
I don't
are
mind.
interesting.
I don't mind if you have the Jays at 1. I really don't
No,
mind.
that I'm fine with. The only thing I feel like you need to, at the minimum, respect KD and Kyrie top 3. Like 1 is
Yeah,
strong.
I have them 3.
Middleton and Giannis, I'm taking
I'm
over
gonna tell you,
KD
Harden
and
I'm
Kyrie.
projecting.
And that I understand.
So, real quick.
But then KD and Kyrie, though?
If the
like,
Nets played the Celtics, Nets
think
played the
Harden and
Bucks,
Embiid fit better.
where do those series go?
The pick and roll.
I agree.
If you had
Fair.
if right now you had to choose, Ben Simmons plays however you think he plays, the role players play, TJ Warren if you really want him to play. How did the series end up?
Celtics 7, Bucks 6.
Okay.
Wait. What was the question?
I said if the Nets played the Bucks and Celtics right now, how do those series end?
So the Nets lose to the Bucks.
No. I meant they take the Celtics to 7.
And
So Nets in 7 and
Oh.
Nets in 6 versus the Bucks. That's what I meant to
the
say.
Nets beat both the Bucks
Yeah.
and the
You have an
Celtics.
agenda.
Wait,
The Nets agenda has started.
beating the
Yep.
the
Yep.
Bucks in 6.
Celtics in 7.
Yeah.
The agenda has begun today, fellas.
Let's
August
do it.
25th.
It should be fun. It should be a fun year.
So you have the Nets going to the finals? Like, let me ask you that.
No, they have to. They
Or
have
either
to.
them or Philly
They
at this
have
point.
to.
It's-
Philly's up there, man.
They have to. So
Joel,
the two
what's
teams you're
going
believing in
on?
are the Sixers and the Nets.
That's a fucking wild thing to do. Okay.
Like
What's going
willingly,
on?
no one's
You
holding
know
a
what-
knife
you
to
know
your
Philly-
neck. You're like
Joel,
willingly doing
what's
this
going
shit.
on?
About what?
Just
I don't know what's going on here.
That's interesting.
I don't know what the I guess the questioning is about.
so Milwaukee and Boston are the 3rd and 4th teams in the Eastern Conference.
Listen, you forced me to pick something, but I told you they're all tier 1 teams.
No,
They
no,
can
no,
all
all
go
right.
on final runs.
I'm asking.
You're just being very
Right now,
you know,
the top
confident.
4, you're saying are the Nets, Philadelphia, whichever order.
I don't really care about seeding. Like I want to know once the playoffs get
Yeah,
who
like,
you're
But
gonna
this
take.
is how I'm getting. Just you're saying that Boston and Milwaukee are the 3rd and 4th best teams in the Eastern Conference right now.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
I mean, you're taking the Nets over both of them.
I think the Celtics can make a finals run.
You're hurting my head.
I've already said
You
it.
just asked us to fail.
I've already said it.
said we
The
hope we
tier
fail.
1 teams to me are the Heat.
But then you
the
just
Sixers,
said the Nets are
Nets,
losing
Bucks,
to the
and
Celtics. Or beating the
He
Celtics.
forced me
in-
to make a prediction right now. Like he told me if everything goes right.
He did
He
actually.
literally told me if everything goes right. If everything goes right, yes, Nets
And the
Nets in
Bucks?
7 versus the Boston.
And what
That's
about the Bucks?
respect.
The Bucks in 6.
The Bucks made no moves this offseason.
They don't
that
need
moved
to.
me.
They didn't need to. Middleton didn't play, and they were a
really
game
did.
away.
And without that, the Nets with Kyrie and KD were cooking them.
They got swept
It's
last
also
season.
2 years ago,
It's
bro.
another year, bro. It's
Harden-
a
It's 2
different
years
year.
ago.
Harden didn't play the first 2 years. They were up 2-0.
You're right.
It was
KD and
two- It
Kyrie.
was 2 years ago.
But they have a better
Kyrie
team.
was up. They was up 2-1. That's not really much.
Their roster's better now.
No, they're up 2-0.
No, Kyrie played game 3 and they lost.
I know, and it was
They
a,
got
it was
hurt
a
in game
nail
4.
biter. Yeah.
So it's like they were up 2-1 and some change. I ain't really saying much. So whatever. That's just cool. That's interesting though. Nets in Philly.
I personally wouldn't do it, but each their own.
I don't mind Philly.
I
the
don't mind
Nets.
Philly either.
I just think taking them over the
I don't think
Celtics
they're
and
gonna-
Bucks right now is crazy.
Philly, everything's relying on Harden. The
It
Nets
is.
scheme and coach, which I don't trust.
So right now, the outright betting.
they arguably have the worst coach in the East.
So the Nets are 3rd in the East outright betting. It's the Celtics 1st in betting, the Bucks 2nd, and the Nets 3rd.
Warriors, where are they? Fourth?
Warriors in the West. It's
Oh,
the
this
Clippers
is
and
just the East.
Clippers. Warriors are tied in the West.
It's because KD and Kyrie. People are going to bank on them, and that's
They've been doing
fine.
that for
Wild.
Bucks are plus 650,
And they've
Nets are
won
plus 700.
one playoff series.
against a really bad Celtics team. That team was ass.
Yeah, we didn't have Jalen Brown, and that was our worst
And
year.
at the minimum, they still got a game.
Tatum,
Listen,
KD and
Tatum's
Kyrie,
top 50.
KD
look,
and Kyrie couldn't get one.
And this is the thing. And even
What
if
I tell you, got to get one.
Got to get one.
even if the Nets disappoint again, it's still a reasonable opinion to have.
If the Nets disappoint again, we're fucking flaming you.
You see, he tried
Like,
to just he tried
we're
to
flaming
lay
you.
a bet.
We're
Okay,
flaming
it's
you.
okay.
It's all
You see how he
right.
tried to
It's
do
not
that?
that
Yeah,
bad.
now we're cooking
Because
you.
No, because
ultimately,
they've showed us this
If they don't
already,
get to
bro.
the ECF, we're cooking you. Like,
Yes,
you got to
yes,
get
yes,
cooked.
yes.
Yeah, if they don't make it at least to the ECF, if they make it to the ECF, we'll
Nah,
give you a
this
if
pass.
they don't
isn't-
make it to the ECF, you're done.
This isn't a J. Cole song.
You're done.
This isn't no role models. This isn't blame. Fool me one time, shame on you. Fool me twice, can't put the blame on you. Fool me 3 times, fuck the peace sign, load the chopper, let it rain on you. This isn't a J. Cole song. I will be happily fooled by the Nets 3 times in a row. Because if the first year they were unhealthy, the second year, COVID, Kyrie barely played. I understand they lost. That was an embarrassment. There was no excuse there. But this year, it feels like they're bought in. It feels like Kyrie's bought in. It feels like, at least for the season, it feels like KD understands this is the best place for him to win a championship. And if I'm wrong about it, I'm wrong about it. But I'm not going to feel bad about being wrong about betting on Kyrie, KD, and the roster they have assembled. Because it's one of the best rosters in the NBA.
Should feel bad.
Well, if they make it to the ECF,
You're chopped.
tough.
Chopped.
That's a pretty shitty ass.
They can.
season.
They can make it to the
I
ECF.
think they can. If they
They
don't,
can
though.
make it to the championship.
So can the
Can.
Timberwolves. Timberwolves can too.
Not the they play in the West, so the
you know
conference.
what,
Yeah,
you know what I fucking mean.
Dude, come on. That was petty.
Come on.
That was petty.
come on. Semantics.
Semantics.
Let's get into the West, please.
Top duos in the Western Conference. Now I have 15 teams here,
Good lord.
I didn't want to list
I
the
have 9.
bums.
so I guess I'll just start it off. So the top duos in the Western Conference. Number 15, the Spurs.
Okay, but who is
No.
the
He let
duo?
him go at 10. He can start naming
yes,
5.
yeah.
At
Just
10, he can
name
start
teams
naming.
then.
Keldon
Facts.
Johnson, Devin
Oh,
Vassell.
God.
The Rockets, Kevin Porter Jr., Jalen Green. The Thunder, SGA and Josh Giddey. The Jazz, Donovan Mitchell, Mike Conley as of right now.
Oh, God.
The Blazers, Damian Lillard and Jeremy Grant. The Mavericks at 10, Luka and Dinwiddie. The Kings at 9, De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis.
Like it so far?
The Grizzlies at 8, Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr.
I love it.
The Suns at 7, Devin
Knew
Booker
this
and
was
Chris
happening.
Paul. The Timberwolves, Anthony Edwards and Cat. The Pelicans at 5, Zion and Ingram. The Nuggets at 4, Jokic and Murray. The Warriors at 3, Steph and Dre. The Lakers at 2, LeBron and AD. And the Clippers at 1, Kawhi and PG.
I got to say, this is an amazing list.
Thanks.
It's an amazing list. And you did what I couldn't do and was ballsy up and put the Pelicans in the top 5. I respect the fuck out of it.
Thanks.
It was an amazing list.
Are you done?
Only thing I will say that I didn't like was that you didn't put my boys at number 1, but I understand.
Who's your one?
He had PG
Clippers.
and Kawhi. The reason why I put
I thought I was gonna do that.
No, all right, I'll give my top 10 really quick, but it's pretty similar. I have Luka and Dorian Finney-Smith. I'm sorry, I'm not putting Christian Wood. Number 9, Fox and Sabonis. Number 8, John Bain. Number 7, I have Ant and Cat. Number 6, I have Bi and Zion. Number 5, I have CP3 and Booker. Number 4, I have Jokic and Murray. Number 3, I have Steph, Wiggins, or Dre, whichever you want to put. At number 2, I have PG and Kawhi. And number 1, I have LeBron and AD. The reason why I respect you is because I didn't want to disrespect blatantly CP3 and Booker. The fact that they were the number 1 team in the Western Conference, they went to the finals the year before. You still have to respect Devin Booker and his abilities on the basketball court, and of course CP3 without a doubt. Why I respect you is because I wanted to put the Pelicans in the top 5.
I'm accounting for CP3 regressing.
Which is fine. And that's, me and Riv had this conversation before the show. If you're putting BI and Zion into your top 5, it automatically becomes a projection. And that's something I guess I should have done in hindsight. Honestly, now that I'm adjusting, I want to put BI and Zion into that top 5 because I firmly believe Zion, when he is meeting his maximum potential, he is a top 10 player in the NBA. BI right now is a borderline top 15 player in the NBA. Borderline.
Nah,
Said
20,
borderline.
top 20.
No, that's a lock. Right? Which is why I say he's a borderline top 15 player in the NBA. That's not crazy. I'm not saying that he's locked. If
It is
anything,
pretty crazy.
he's 15 at the minimum at the max. He's 15.
Outside the top 10 is like Paul George, Trae Young,
Yep.
Donovan
Dame.
Mitchell,
Yep.
Dame,
Ja Morant.
Ja Morant.
Donovan Mitchell, and
Booker.
BI this next season will be a conversation.
This is what I'm going to say.
Is that crazy to say, sir?
Nah, it's just really fucking bright in here.
Yeah, but those that guy.
This is-
Because
this
you know
is-
it's facts. BI can be better than Donovan
This is
Mitchell.
what I'll say to that.
But he's not top. Nah, it's
No,
not.
I said Zion. Let me finish, King. Zion can be a top 10. Right now, you look
Top
at
10?
I'm saying his potential is
Oh,
top 10.
I'm thinking,
Yes.
I'm thinking you're talking about like going
no,
to
no,
next
no,
season.
no,
Oh, okay.
no. And then you look at BI.
Yeah,
Yes,
fine. Okay,
potential
I'm with
top
you now.
15,
Okay,
top
I'm with you
15.
now. I thought you meant like going into
No,
next
no,
season.
I
I
understand.
think the
If that how it
Pelicans
came out, I apologize.
The Pelicans, when comparing Zion, BI versus Jokic and Murray, the Pelicans, I think, have a better duo. I just put the Nuggets ahead of them because that Jokic-Murray duo has been to the conference
I
finals.
agree.
And with them, unlike Phoenix, I don't have to account for a regression for any of these two players.
So, which is why that logic is sound. I'm with you there.
No, it doesn't make sense.
No.
Why?
I agree.
Chris
too.
You
Paul's
put
30.
KD and Kyrie at 1 on the other side.
And you didn't put LeBron and AD at 1, and they're the only duo outside of Steph
you have,
and
like, the
Dre
Jays
to win a
at 4?
championship.
That's because AD the past 2 seasons hasn't been himself.
No, wait, no, you just contradicted yourself because you just said you put them up there because Jamal and the Joker have went to the WCF. That's fine,
Yeah.
but you had the Jays at 4 and they just went to the finals.
Well, there's a difference.
There is not.
Yeah, there's a difference.
No, there is a difference.
What's the difference?
Yeah, it's an agenda.
No. You want to know what
That's
the
the
difference
difference.
is? You want to know what the difference is?
I
It's in
actually
the
would
bubble.
love to know.
Jokic and Murray have went to the conference finals. Pelicans,
Don't do that.
Zion, BI.
Don't do that.
I was thinking about putting them, but I didn't because of the success factor. The difference with KD and Kyrie and the Nets is that, I mean, although they haven't proven it in Brooklyn, they have proven it that they can win championships.
Not as a
Not
duo,
both-
though.
not being-
They're
No,
both NBA
KD
champions.
proved that he can win a championship
Steph.
when he
Steph Curry.
joins the
If we're
greatest
talking about
team
KD
of
and
all
Steph,
time.
it's a different type
Same
of
shit with
duo.
Kyrie.
He was the best player on that team.
And Kyrie proved that he can win a championship. Shout out to you, Kyrie Irving.
Yeah,
Absolutely,
30.
I'm
No,
grateful
I'm not
for what
mad
you
at-
did.
I'm not-
he only proved
They're
it
both
with the
in-
best player
I mean,
to ever
they're-
play
I
the
get-
game.
I get what you're saying.
Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown, yes, they beat them. Are they NBA champions? No. Kyrie and KD are NBA
Yeah,
champions.
no, I
They have
get,
that
I
hard
get
way.
what you're saying. Kevin Durant has the hard way, but if we're talking about a Kevin Durant-Steph duo, that's
Bro,
different.
they need the 2 best players of this generation to get them.
KD was the best pro on the team, bro.
Steph
wait,
Curry and fucking LeBron.
So why do you have the Jays at 4, though?
Because he has an agenda. Like, it's disgusting. It truly is disgusting.
Could the Celtics look?
No, you can't
What do you mean,
do
the
that,
highest
bro.
Celtics?
The highest I put the
Enough
Celtics
with
at
your
3.
coulds. Do that.
Who's in front of them?
Do that.
Embiid, Harden,
Bro,
Giannis,
the
Embiid
Antetokounmpo.
and Harden haven't done
the Nets
anything.
better win a fucking championship this
That's
year.
what I'm
the
saying.
Nets, the Nets have to win a championship this year for you to sound
if you
right.
wanna put-
Your agenda's sick.
The Nets
you
have
wanna
to win.
put-
The Nets have to win a
If
championship. You realize that?
If you want to put Tatum and Brown over Embiid
No,
and
they're
Harden, I
2
don't
for
care.
me, but I'm just saying your logic
No,
it has to
Riv,
fit.
the Nets have to win a chip because the Celtics are at 4 because they lost.
Yeah, I
now
don't
the
get
Nets
that.
are
I
at
don't-
1. They
like,
have to win a
They got-
championship for them to be the
and
number
then-
1.
And you put the Jays at 4 because they didn't win. The team that got swept, that duo cannot be at 1.
Yo, what
because
is
you dropped the Jays all the way for losing in the finals. They got swept in the first round. They gotta be at like 8 based off your logic.
no, swept in 1 is
they gotta
nuts.
be at like 8 based off your logic.
Just like the East and West time zones, my East and West duels are different criteria.
Why can't the
different.
logic stay
Well,
the same?
Stop.
Does not say the same.
Yo,
It's
can you-
different.
Bro,
It's
just
different.
admit you have the agenda and we can move on.
This is a generational
What
hate
is it?
agenda.
Admit
This is a
the-
generational
just
hate
admit
agenda.
the
This is
Celtics
crazy.
agenda.
All right, we're gonna go back to the West because that. Whoa, wow, okay.
And also, when talking about the Nuggets, not only do they have success, but Nikola Jokic is an MVP, a 2-time MVP. So
Individually.
I mean, him alone, I can quite confidently put over the Pelicans.
He won more games than KD and Kyrie.
Okay, but Jamal Murray is like a bonus. He's awesome, and in the playoffs, he plays out of his mind. But that's why I comfortably put them over the Pelicans because they have achieved something. And
One of the best playoff performers of our generation.
yes, and Jokic and Murray. I mean, Jokic alone MVP.
So
It's hard to compete with that.
put the Joker. You put
Tatum's
that,
not an MVP.
No, I
Neither
get it.
is Jaylen Brown.
You put that duo over the Pels because the
He's not
Joker.
even Jaylen Brown's not even All NBA.
Yeah, you put that duo over them because the Joker has won things individually by himself, and then with
Jamal
a duo,
Murray's
he has
not an
a.
all-star,
Well,
right?
but
He
we
has a
know
dev
what the
chip.
duo.
No, I get it.
Jamal Murray,
Murray
is he an
has
all-star?
No, he's
no,
not.
right?
Yeah, but
Jaylen
you-
Brown's an all-star.
He went straight to All NBA. He didn't even say All
Right,
Star.
no, forget
Went
about
straight
that.
to All NBA.
It's crazy to me. I don't
Jamal
get it.
Murray's not an all-star.
You're definitely a generation
He
hate
was
agenda
hurt
going
this
on right
past
now.
season.
He wouldn't have been an all-star.
He was trending towards a All-Star level year though.
That's fair. to
You
say.
said All NBA for Jaylen Brown.
Okay.
So you say the same thing about Jamal Murray? He could be an All NBA player?
Well, I think Jokic clears Tatum and JB.
I mean, it's fucking Jokic.
I know it is. That's what I'm saying. Jamal Murray's just an add-on. I literally just said that.
So you're taking Jokic and Murray over JB and JT.
The
As a
Jays?
duo, yeah, I would.
You're nuts.
That's so fucking insane.
Why?
I don't
You
think.
think-
I don't
you
know.
think that's
I wouldn't.
insane?
I don't think that's insane.
It's
I
the
don't think. I
Joker.
don't think that one's
It's the
insane.
Joker.
I don't think that one's insane because they do fit magically
They do.
together.
They do.
So I don't think that one's insane. That other shit he's talking about with the losers, that's insane. That the sweepers.
The Nuggets went to one ECF?
Went WCF, and they
WCF,
were. And
that's
Joker
what I mean.
wasn't as good as
Can
he
I
was
ask you,
now.
are
know.
you taking KD
That's
and
it.
Kyrie or Jokic and Murray?
I'm taking the Joker and Jamal. I don't know why this fascination with KD and Kyrie.
Can I hear your list? I'm curious.
Yeah, I got you, boy. So 10, Fox and Sabonis. 9, Luka and whoever. It didn't really matter to me. 8, Ja and JJJ. I have JJ as his duo. 7, Book and CP0. 6, Ant and Cat. 5, Zion and BI. 4, the Joker and Jamal. 3, LeBron and AD. 2, Kawhi and Paul George. And 1, Steph and Dre. So
But do you really believe Steph and Dre's a better duo than Kawhi and PG?
You had Jokic 4, you said?
yeah.
You think you do?
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm just going to use your logic.
I mean,
Steph
listen.
carries so much of the offensive
listen,
machinery.
I'm asking you. I do. I'm not saying it's not unreasonable. It's reasonable because
I think in terms of
I know how good they are.
No, I think in terms of like all trolling aside, in terms of like success and what those two do together on the court, the impact. Yeah, I think they're better. If you don't think they're better, they're just as good. They may not be on a talent perspective. I go case by case. My entire list is not driven solely off of winning or talent. It's a That's
case.
cap. You literally just said
case by case scenario.
No, you literally just said the Joker and Jamal. What they did in the WCF is why
over
you put
the
them over.
Pelicans. That's a case by case scenario.
I will give him the benefit of the doubt because if he would have kept it consistent, then LeBron and AD would have been number one.
And the Warriors would have been ahead of the Clippers.
Correct.
I have the Clippers at 1 because it's a case by case
basis.
Listen,
I like your list in the Western Conference immensely. I do have my issues here and there. The only issue I have is that when you look at the Eastern Conference, it's just not the same
criteria.
Exactly.
He fits things to fit his agenda.
Yeah, it's a duo
That's why
thing.
with the Western Conference, you had no agenda, and it was obvious.
You think that I'm really going to put the Celtics over the Sixers? You think that?
I mean, if you weren't biased, yes, I would think so.
with me knowing what Harden's going to be this year, you think I'm going to do that?
Harden's going to be really good.
I mean, on a case by case,
with Embiid being an MVP level player who's better than Jason Tatum, I'm going to do that. With Harden,
have that conversation.
With Harden, Embiid's better than Tatum. Harden's better than JB.
You can have the conversation.
But if you're going off that, I don't understand why your logic's so different on either side.
It's
because
obvious.
If you're going off, if
Embiid
is better than Tatum, and Harden is better than you said Jaylen Brown, right?
Yeah.
Then why you can't keep it just I don't get your logic.
The Sixers are above Celtics for me.
I get that, but it's like I don't know, success. I guess success just for me in a duo. What you've done and how you fits better than just the talent. Because you could be a talented duo, but if you don't do anything with it, hence cough Kevin Durant and Kyrie, then it's like who cares?
Tatum and JB also have the benefit of being around the better roster of all these teams, of all these duos.
Wow.
Because I mean, winning is not just a duo thing; it's a team thing, right?
Didn't KD and Kyrie pick the majority of their roster and their coach?
Who has a better roster, Celtics or Nets?
I know. I'm
you
just
okay.
Thank
you picked the Nets to win.
You just told me that the Nets have a better roster overall.
No, we're talking about last year.
That's why you fix yourself, and I'm fine.
Wait, but didn't you pick the Nets to win?
The Celtics.
So you didn't care about the roster
because KD and Kyrie I thought would be enough.
Because you think that duo is above, and then they proved to you that they're not enough because they're not that type of duo.
Was it a bad opinion to have? No, it was not because KD had.
Well, I think
it was a bad opinion.
No,
in hindsight, it is.
That's wrong. I don't think it was a bad opinion.
It is a bad opinion.
But I think at this point,
it was a wrong opinion. It wasn't a bad opinion.
No, listen. I'm saying I don't think it was a bad opinion to pick the Nets to win. But I think as of today,
he says that because he picked the Nets. He says that because he picked the Nets.
No, I'm saying as of today, putting them over now after what we just seen is a bad idea. But at that point, it wasn't a bad idea.
There's a difference between a wrong opinion and a bad opinion.
No, it was a bad opinion.
Picking the Nets over the Celtics is not a bad opinion.
They got swept. They didn't win a game.
You picked the Celtics you picked the Celtics in 6.
I wasn't here.
Well, I think if I were to ask you, would you have made it 6 games? You didn't think nobody here, maybe outside of you, which I think you really just guessed.
You picked Boston.
You said 5, anyways. You picked them to win 1.
No, we have the video of me and Barkley saying that's Celtics in 4.
But I thought you was trolling.
You would think.
Talk to me.
Hold up. You picked Boston in 6 over Golden State.
No, I picked them in 7 games.
Okay, you were wrong.
I was wrong.
Was that a bad opinion though?
Yeah.
You think that was a bad one?
1,000%.
It was bad. They looked bad.
It's also different when you're in the fucking finals.
And it's
fucking
also
idiotic.
honest. Sometimes you got to be honest with yourself.
I don't think that's a bad opinion.
Clown ass trolls over here.
But I do think that picking the Celtics over
you were a clown. You picked the Nets over the Celtics. They got swept.
Hey, listen, I took my L on that.
Utah, like you're lucky that Golden State took you. They did.
You know, when talking about the Celtics,
you also had Phoenix going to the finals.
No, I did not.
You picked Phoenix over the Warriors. You did. Yes, you did.
Early in the season.
No, I'm saying when the playoffs started, you was like, I have Phoenix going. Yes, you did.
That's not true.
And you had them going to the WCF.
At the halfway point, I'll shake your hand. You're 100% right.
Who'd you have going then?
Who?
He didn't have the Warriors.
Nah, towards the end of the season, I did pick the Warriors to go.
I don't recall.
Okay, but listen, this is what I'm saying. Picking the Celtics over the Warriors before the series started versus picking the Nets over Boston is much different. I think the consensus was that I think most people thought the Nets were going to win.
No.
I think they were favorites.
Nobody thought that KD was going to
Celtics
play
were
that
slight
bad.
favorites.
Slight.
Kyrie
we didn't think it'd be a sweep.
It was close, but Celtics were slightly favored.
I mean, listen, it happens. It happens.
Nah.
But
There's a difference between being wrong in the first round compared to the finals.
I'm not gonna lie. When they got swept, I was in awe.
Swept.
I was in awe when they got swept.
I was.
I ain't never seen no shit like that in my life.
It happens.
No, it does not.
Really,
not
no,
when
it
you're an
literally didn't happen
all-time
once last
great
year, except
like
the Nets.
Kevin Durant.
It literally did not happen to a single other team.
Yeah, that was
It
crazy.
doesn't
Kevin
just
Durant
happen.
is supposedly an all-time great.
That shit caught me by surprise. I ain't gonna front. It was crazy. That's their duo though. Kyrie, game 1, I thought that was the one. He did not. They did not win that
Game 1,
game.
Boston stole it. Simple as that.
Yeah, we made plays.
You stole the game, yeah.
We won the game. Stole the game. I don't give a fuck. It's a
What is a leprechaun? Isn't leprechaun something that steals things?
No, he's lucky. That's what he is.
Okay. That's a lucky
It's a
bastard.
lucky sweep.
He
they
does.
still gold?
He
They
does.
still
They do.
gold?
Yeah,
Still gold.
yeah, it's true.
Okay. If you steal a game,
Outside of
you
the NBA championship, they don't steal that. You haven't won one in.
I mean, they have the most ever. Like, I don't love the
Wait, what-
Celtics,
what
but
was
in
that?
recent history, though.
they won in 2008.
In the last 10 years.
That was a minute ago.
Okay.
Damn.
What?
Oh,
What's
wait.
this about a leprechaun? to do with
I don't
anything?
know.
Young.
12 years.
My
man.
top 10 duos in the
No, it
West.
might be
I
14.
don't even have 10, but it'd
14.
probably be Fox bonus. 9, I have
14.
Luka and whoever. 8, I have the Suns with Chris Paul and Booker. 7, Ja, JJJ. 6, Zion and BI. 5, Cat and Edwards, a little higher than the rest of you. 4, Jokic and Murray. 3, Bron and AD. 2, Curry and Draymond. 1, Kawhi and PG.
I love the PG.
So you had the
love.
C's at 1 on your top East list.
Yes.
So why over the Bucks?
Over
Giannis?
No,
and
I'm
Middleton?
sorry. I had the Bucks at 1. Pardon me.
Okay.
Because they have yet to get beaten technically. So I had the Bucks at 1. I have the Jays at 2.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah, I'm consistent with my criteria, buddy.
I guess.
Yeah, I like winning. I like when they show me results. You know, I don't like losers.
I guess.
I like winners too.
It's respectable.
I like winners.
I like when the Jays won.
You know what I like?
Oh.
I like believing in my guys. And I'm going to believe in
Tatum
KD
has
Kyrie.
more.
And I'm going to believe in Harden and Embiid.
Tatum has more conference MVPs than Harden.
Well, that was just a new thing.
It's 25.
Just a new thing.
24.
24.
How many MVPs does Tatum have over Harden?
19, actually.
How many MVPs does Tatum
Talk
have
about the
over
regular season.
Yeah.
Tatum's a playoff performer. I like that
Harden's
more.
a better player performer than Tatum. You
Oh,
know
because
that, right?
he averages more bland numbers. I like what I see.
Bland numbers?
It's so what I
Okay.
see is
So you
Tatum.
want to talk about Harden
Not
was
right
injured
now.
last season, right?
Not
Tatum
right
just
now.
revealed that he was
Talk about
injured, right? Remember
It's
that?
not the same thing.
He just revealed that he was injured. What was his shoulder?
Fracture. It's like a
Fractured
fractured
It's not
wrist.
the
bone.
same injury.
Yeah.
A fracture?
Harden had a great two hamstring.
He had
No, they're both bad though. One is obviously more bad, but they're both
And
bad.
Tatum was probably like not even telling the truth about his probably.
Why would he be
Harden
lying?
actually it was actually reported that he was hurt during
Bro
when
called
it
him
was
a
happening.
liar.
Why would Tatum
Because he
lie?
wanted to outwardly come out and say, yeah, this is why I was mid.
What do you mean? Tatum did essentially say
Tatum
that.
never made Tatum in that interview did not say I didn't play well because I was hurt. He just said I was hurt for most of the
Harden
year.
never said he didn't play well because he was hurt either.
I know, but you said he said
he
that
was
because
hot
he's
shit.
mid. You said Tatum said that because he was mid. No,
No,
he
but
never made an
it was
excuse.
quite apparent that Harden literally could barely walk with Tatum.
I'm not.
he was still
I'm not
playing.
arguing Harden versus Tatum. I'm just saying he
That's
was
like
hurt
Chris
too.
Paul when Chris Paul after he lost in the playoffs said he was hurt. He was playing hurt.
I know. So did
There was no
Tatum.
reports of that though.
There was no reports from Tatum either.
All right, so either report it or don't say nothing about it.
Screaming.
Either
You
report
can't
it or
just
don't say
you
nothing
can't bring it
about
up
it.
in an interview 3 months later.
Nope, not at all.
Oh my god.
Either report it, either while it's going on, say you're injured, or don't go back and say, yeah, I played back because it is.
You're acting like he made a big deal out of this. He said they asked a question, he answered it, and they moved the fuck on.
Well, maybe sometimes you should maybe not be so honest.
Just be like, oh, I don't want to talk about my injuries. Bro, it's a simple question.
What was the question?
I don't remember.
Oh yeah,
I don't
because he
know.
probably brought it up on his own.
I actually have no clue.
And
how
was
that
like,
got
yeah, I was
brought up.
actually hurt, I think that's how it went. He actually said, yeah, I was actually hurt. And Taylor Rooks was like, oh, wow, really?
I think that was.
That's how it went.
Oh, she was
So
interested.
Tatum in his
He
first...
was about to breeze by, and then she asked about the injury.
No, because he mentioned it.
Well,
So that's why she
But
asked
he
to
brought it
follow.
up very lightly. He's like, oh yeah, I was
Yeah,
banged
but
up. Then he
she-
was going on with his story. And
but
Taylor
A good,
Rooks brought it
good
up. Okay.
reporter
Reporter's gonna
follows
ask
up.
the- yeah, he's gonna
Follows
like,
up on it.
Okay, then he has to go into detail.
Stop
Nothing wrong with
defending
that.
Jason Tatum.
I'll
man.
defend him till I die.
It's tough.
Yeah, for sure. Like till I die, I'm in the grave. I will be Jason Tatum defender.
On to the last topic of the show. It's going to be a Kobe Bryant tribute. Yesterday was 8/24. We're recording this 8/25.
His birthday was 8/23.
Yes. So Kobe Bryant tribute. We know that he's one of the best players of all time. He's a great human being. For me, my fave moment of Kobe Bryant is 2010 NBA Finals. That's what got me into basketball. That's my favorite first moment.
My best
I still
memory.
remember to this day sitting in my couch basement when Ron Artest hit those 2 game-sealing threes. Pau Gasol's excellent rebounding. Kobe had a tough shooting night, but he rebounded so much, and they beat the Celtics, which made it even better. Kobe Bryant, the memory still is in my head of what he did, and I think he's definitely missed. For me, I used to watch motivational speeches of Kobe Bryant all the time, and it's really sad that he's not on this earth today because I think he's one of the better human beings. Not only is he a great player, of course, but he's a smart guy. He's written books that have gotten awards.
Won an Oscar.
Yeah, he's just did so much, and I think it is sad that he's not here today. But that's just how life is.
For me, my favorite Kobe moment it wasn't in the game or nothing. It was at USA practice when him and Kyrie was going at
That's
it
real.
back and forth. Kyrie telling him he can't guard. Kobe talking about he a young pup, and then them going to play in Cleveland. Kobe Bryant locking him up at the end of the game. So I just think that Kobe showing his fight, his work ethic, showing his ability, telling him straight up, yo, I can easily check you, and then going out and showing it. Just talks about the competitive edge of Kobe. And I wasn't a major Kobe fan. I didn't really gravitate towards Kobe Bryant, but I respected his game. I understand who he was. I knew who he was as a basketball player. And I feel like you said, him winning the Oscar, him being involved in his daughter's, his basketball team, coaching them, teaching her how to play ball, I thought that was huge, especially for me as a dad. That kind of motivates me in a way. So shout out to Kobe. Rest in peace to Kobe. His shoes are magical. You got to talk about the shoes. So fucking fire. I need me some Kobe's.
I got 2 pairs.
Do you really?
Yeah, I folded with my second pair. I actually wore them. I folded, but I played basketball in both of them.
Great shoes.
Absolutely.
Love Kobe shoes. Top 5.
Even though they're low, you're good with them?
I don't like a lot of lows, but Kobe lows.
I agree,
would dig
actually.
Kobe
I
lows.
feel pretty comfortable. As long as you're wearing firm socks, they're
Yeah,
firm.
I don't like too many lows, but Kobe lows I could
So
dig.
I don't care how basic this answer is. Kobe Bryant dropping 60 points in his last game ever is arguably the greatest regular season moment in basketball history, in my opinion. And the way that he did it. 13 unanswered points in the last 2 minutes of the game. As the team was down 10.
He was tired as hell, too.
He goes and backpacks to a W in Kobe fashion, just completely takes over the game and finishes with 60 points. The only thing that comes in any type of comparison to that is Derek Jeter walking off on his last hit ever, last game ever. That's the only thing that I could think about to compare to Kobe dropping 60 points. At the age of 37 years old, it's just one of those things that you probably will never see again. I remember watching the highlights the day after, just how amazing it was. I genuinely just started to tear up. It was just that magical a performance. Only Kobe Bryant could do something as special as that. You guys hit it perfectly. Kobe Bryant not being here really is a tragedy. The impact that he had, not only for the NBA, but for the future of the WNBA also. He really cared about the WNBA. He wanted Gianna to be the face of the WNBA, and he was trying to be a pioneer for them. And that really hurts because his impact there would have been enormous for them. Gianna would have been a huge help for the WNBA also. It's really tragic, of course. And Kobe Bryant always will be missed.
And I think it's just a voice of reason because whenever people talk about the WNBA, they often make jokes about it. And I think
man.
Kobe Bryant was that voice of reason. People that are making jokes about it are kind of, shallow.
Ignorant.
Yeah,
Very ignorant.
shallow.
I was just at the game, the playoff game. Fun, exciting
Liberty?
game. Yeah,
It's
really
tragic, actually.
Yeah,
Our girl Sabrina just...
she folded. No, I'll be the first. I seen everything.
Bro, it hurt.
She didn't show me what everybody had been talking about. I'm
I've been
hard
chatting,
critic.
too.
Yeah, she didn't. I didn't.
It
I saw
hurt.
the other girl though, the light skinned girl, Laney.
Uh-huh.
She's a dog. She was getting gritty. But it was a great game. I don't know why people. I was probably one of those people who was like, I don't know if I want to go to a WNBA game. Went to the game. I'm like,
It's fun?
it's fake lit. The arena was nice. There was a lot of people in there. We had some good seats.
Because the Liberty are
Yeah.
exciting. They're a future
It was a really
of
exciting
WNBA.
game. Watching Candace Parker and them, it was exciting. So I liked the game.
You saw legends.
I did.
Candace is a legend.
She really
Yeah,
is.
no, bro. She's a...
She folded. She didn't play that good.
My top,
Candace?
Yeah, she didn't play
my
that
top Kobe moments. His best, arguably on the court moment, is probably one of my worst. Game 7 loss in the finals. But
good. Yeah,
as a young kid, probably hated Kobe for it. We played them, back-to-back years, obviously. But growing up, you learn to appreciate I feel the same about LeBron. Like when I was younger, I hated him, but growing up, it's like you just have to appreciate how great they are and how much they do off the court for people, their family. But I would say the two moments that not just my favorite, but probably exemplify Kobe, or what you mentioned, the 60 points in his final game. I remember turning it on. It was probably a 10:30 game because it was in LA, right? I remember turning that on and just seeing him just be Kobe. Really.
I remember that day because it was them, and then the Warriors was breaking the record.
73 games.
So it was like a magical night. Everybody was like flipping back and forth.
And then
crazy.
The other one being hitting the free throws after his torn Achilles. Another thing that just really epitomizes what Kobe Bryant is. After he goes down to injury, goes back to the free throw line, hits both free throws, comes off the court, and find out, within the next couple of days that he tore his Achilles. He's deeply missed. That's gonna be one moment that I'll remember for the rest of my life, where I was, who I was around, like what was just going through everyone's head, and it was just crazy. Those first like couple minutes where like you knew it and not everyone else in the room knew it, and you kind of just sat there. You're like, bro, like how do you even like fucking talk about this, right? It's Kobe Bryant's like almost feels bigger than life to discuss someone of his stature dying, but deeply missed, and he just did so much for people off the court and on.
Yeah, for sure.
He could have three-peated too. That's fucking crazy. That 3P would have been crazy.
It would have been. It's a shame that we never saw the LeBron and Kobe finals matchup.
LeBron bum ass.
Now, it's LeBron's fault or the Cavaliers? Cavaliers were
He was the favorites to beat Orlando. I think he was favorite.
They were.
Fucking bum. He folded.
The Magic they were a good team.
Magic was. That's his fault. Kobe got there. The goal was, see you get there. Kobe got here waiting for LeBron. I have to see Dwight Howard.
LeBron came crazy though, did he not?
No, he did.
He played amazing.
He did. That 40 ball and then the 3-point.
That's one of his prime moments.
Got to win.
And he lost the series.
And that's going to do it for episode 205 of the Pick a Side Podcast. You can follow us on TikTok and Instagram at Pick a Side Podcast, on Twitter at Pick a Side Pod. Don't forget to join our Chalkboard or Discord if you want premium access and 2 extra episodes a month on Patreon. Thank you guys for listening and or watching, and we'll see you next time.